It's 3 balls in, dot balls. Yes, apologies for 2 o'clock, but we had our queue turned down, and I've nearly missed you this hour as well, because we just had a power cut in the ground, and everything's only just being restored. Anyway, Durham are batting. It's their second innings, final day here, and they've been set a target of 386 to win. They're currently 124 for 3, so they need another 262 from 47 overs, so the required rate's gone up past 5 and over now. The wickets to go. Alex Lees was bowled by Anuj Dal just after lunch for 41. Michael Jones was caught at first slip by Elias Deploy when he was on 23, and Scott Borthwick was recently out for 12. He got an absolute jaffer off Sam Connors, pitched on a length, never got up, and cleaned his stumps up, so he departed on 12. Durham were 101 for 3 at the time. They've now got David Beddingham out there on 16 and Nick Maddinson, the Australian, on 23, and they're 124 for 3. A jaffer is an unplayable delivery, so it pitched on a length and it basically just daisy cutted right through him. Nothing you can do about it, really. Yeah, terrible. There you are, that's the end of the news, but everything's been wiped out, the internet's gone. Big power surge sort of thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I've got the message to say that I didn't have my private thingy.
Security wasn't connected.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've just explained to the good people of Radio Newcastleshire what a jaffer is.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Entertain, educate, and what's the other one?
Look into.
Yeah, that'll do. No, it's a bit of a shambles, isn't it?
Well, you can hear now house alarms going off, which is always a sign there's just been a power cut.
Yeah. Ben Aitchison's back. This time he's bowling from the Lumley end. He's swapped around a bit over the course of the day. So that's interesting. Well, I say interesting. My phone stopped charging now for no apparent reason.
Is that because it's fully charged?
No, it's not. Nick Hartson said, "Well, let's continue until supper's ready," which is obviously is a Genesis track. Very good, Nick. I thought perhaps it was the... I'm not sure that...
Has the fuse gone on your plug?
Yeah, it might have done. Perhaps I blow. Perhaps it's me. Anyway.
Had you just plugged it in?
No. Been in for 3 days.
Right. Well, that's probably why it's gone wonky then.
Aitchison in and bowls to Beddingham, who pushes this ball out into the offside. It's fielded by Hilton Cartwright. And there's no run. Mine didn't go off. Weird, isn't it?
Oh, mine. Well, I think, you see, because I've got this...
the power thing.
The power surge device on here, so I think there was a big voomf and everything went off because it overrides to protect.
What did it go?
Voomf.
All right. Now my phone is charging again.
Yeah.
Happy days. This next delivery is defended by Beddingham out into the offside. Hilton Cartwright does the fielding.
The inside of the phone's melted, but...
I need a new one anyway.
The iPad's not happy now.
The battery on this is just woeful. Internet's working.
Yeah, it's gradually coming back on. They've there's a lot to be said about built-in obsolescence in devices, isn't there?
Yeah,
the fact it shouldn't happen, but
yeah. Well, you used to remember the mobile phones we used to have. You could get a new battery, couldn't you?
Yeah.
This one is turned into the leg side by Beddingham, straight to Alex Thompson at mid-wicket. No more. I did have a new battery put in the iPhone that I use for interviews and stuff, and that's been pretty decent. Aitchison bowls. That one is driven out towards the cover boundary where it's fielded by Sam Connors. They'll go through for a single. Beddingham will move to 18. And Durham to 126 for 3.
There's all the alarms going off.
We're looking at. So, what's happening?
Code's not working. Nothing's working anymore, Dave.
In comes Aitchison again and bowls. That one is clipped into the leg side. Fielded by the squarer of the 2 mid-wickets. I assume it's Hilton Cartwright the way he's polishing the ball. He seems to be in, yes it is, he seems to be in charge of ball polishing at the moment.
Do you know why all those alarms are going off? I found this out 2 or 3 years ago when we had a flood. It's because
Aitchison bowls, that's pushed out into the offside. They're going to scamper through for a quick single. The ball bounces awkwardly in front of Alex Thompson on the matting, and they come back for a second as well. So Maddinson moves on to 25, 128 for 3 at the end of the over. Beddingham has 18.
in your alarm at home is a backup battery, but after a few years they lose all their power. So it dies. So
right.
If there's a power cut, then your alarm goes off. What should happen is, if there's a power cut, the backup battery should kick in to keep your alarm live and active. So
don't have an alarm.
So you just give me your address and your mother's maiden name and your bank details and your sort code and all that.
I've got nothing worth nicking, Matt. I mean, look at my clothes.
I don't want to nick them.
No, exactly.
Oh, this video feed's gone back to the start of the day now. That's handy.
Apparently, the video feed went to a different game. Somebody tells me as well.
It happens occasionally.
Yeah.
Happens occasionally.
Go on, boys, sort it out. Turn that alarm off while you're doing it.
Petman from the Finkerland. 2 at mid wicket, 1 in the covers, short cover, and keeper standing up to the stumps, putting pressure on Beddingham, who plays that ball down. Ooh. Now then.
Yeah. Cartwright and Deploy have a lengthy conversation.
Looks like Suella Braverman's been voted out in today's
She has,
round.
I'd heard that on the news. Yeah. I never heard of her either.
Attorney General.
Yeah.
Gone down towards long leg, 4-1 run from Beddingham. I think what I might do here is turn this off.
Turn it off and on again?
That's just the plan I've come up with for the iPad.
It doesn't usually work that. Nobody in an IT department would recommend that. I don't think. At the moment my emails are trying to connect, but that's never a good thing. Petman wants the wicketkeeper to stand back. So he obliges.
Petman in, right arm over to Maddinson, who has a waft at that one and plays and misses to a ball that's leaving him outside the off stump.
Good decision to get the wicketkeeper to stand back.
Petman to Maddinson. That one was drifted down the leg side and is taken. Is it not taken by the keeper? No, he's staring up the far end of the field. He's missed it. It's gone for 4 byes. I was wondering why he was looking up there. From the moment that ball left the bowler there, because I'm looking straight down the track.
I had no idea where it was, didn't
No, because the bowler obscured the line of the ball. It went down the leg side, so then Maddinson looked round to see where it was going. Then the keeper missed it and he looked round to see where it was going. And all that time I still had no view of the ball.
Remarkable. 133 for 3.
Ah, the feed's back now, look. It's very quickly back up to speed as well. It's only a fraction behind what we're actually witnessing as Petman comes round the wicket and Maddison tries to come down the track to him and toes the ball along the floor to mid-on.
Nick Johnson is trying to get me to say something rude on the radio, and it's not going to work. He says, don't listen to the sledgers. In an era of irregular and wayward balls, we need your commentary. Your delving into Norse history reminds us that towns with the suffix by, including Derby, is evidence of Viking influence. And then he goes on to add a bit at the end, which I clearly can't read out.
Petman bowls. Oh, and Maddison looks to cut, and he's played that into his front foot there. End of the over. Where are we now? What's the time? 3:15. So tees are 20 to 4 on the last day. Durham need 253 to win. 45 overs remaining. In theory, this is all about
minimum of 45 overs. This reminds me of day 2, which reminded me of day 1 and was replicated on day 3. But on day 2, these two were batted together, and I distinctly remember saying, because I can't remember most things that I've said, because I say so much, and most of it's absolute rubbish, that Beddingham and Maddinson were batted together, and I said, oh, Maddinson looks most likely to get out. And then about 2 balls later, Beddingham got out.
Yeah.
So I've just said it again, because I know that sort of thing's absolute nonsense, but it's worth a try. Derbyshire have now got 2 slips in place as Lewis Deploy comes into first slip with Wayne Madsen at second for the start of a new over from Ben Aitchison. If she had to pick up a wicket in this innings, I'm sure he picked up. Did he pick up any in the first innings? I'm not sure. He's on his way in from his new short run up and bowls to Beddingham, who pushes it up to Billy Godwin at mid off. And there is no run. So Beddingham's on 19 from 36. Maddinson is on 25 from 44. And these two have added 32 off 55 deliveries so far. But I think now draw is 98% with 1% each for the other two. The way the game is just going at the moment, this ball's not helping. Pushed down into the offside. The next delivery from Aitchison, fielded by Hilton Cartwright.
I'm presuming there must be a backup generator in the stadium, so when you have a surge like that and everything goes off, the backup generator kicks in.
Well, they'd have to probably by law, wouldn't they? Because if there was a crowd in, they have to have a PA system, don't they, as a minimum requirement. Yeah. They're taking the toilets away at the back there. This one is guided straight to backward point by Beddingham, where Anush Dardas are feeling. You know, the blue ones, they're taking them away.
Well, they've been stored there. I think they're about to be dotted around the ground again.
They're putting them all on the back of a big trailer.
Yeah, and they'll probably move them around to different locations for the one-day international. If you think all of the stuff that we've seen coming in the ground this week for one day of cricket,
it's remarkable.
The newsstand, all the lorries bringing things, the marquees, the beer, the toilets, the skips.
Next delivery, that's for England's batsman, pushed up to mid-off by Beddingham.
Seat stickers.
Just pop themselves straight in, by the look of it. If you come in, don't miss the first 10 overs in case England are batting. That's all. That's my advice to you.
Can you recycle a full England batsman or not? The bat would have to go in one bin, wouldn't it?
Get melted down. Aitchison did. Wild swing at that one outside the off
That was
stump.
how Michael Jones got himself out.
That was a very poor shot. He took it there, did Brooke Guest, in front of first slip. That's how wide it was. It did go a little wider after it had gone past the stumps, but that wasn't a great shot from David Beddingham. He'll know it, but it's whether he can stop himself from playing another. His eyes lit up. What's his eyes going to do this time? Well, they're going to watch the ball onto the bat as he pushes it up to mid-on, where it's fielded by Alex Thompson. That's the end of the over. A maiden over from Ben Aitchison. 15 overs, 4 maidens, 0 for 35. Durham are 133 for 3. Maddinson has 25. Beddingham has 19. We have a minimum of 44 overs left in the day.
When they're going to shake hands, Dave?
2:53. 10 to 6.
10 to 6. The official County Championship Twitter feed has retweeted Sam Connors wicket of Scott Borthwick, and there's then put a link on to watch the action live at Durham here. So if any of you have clicked on that, welcome.
Just got an audio stream booking email.
Yeah.
The game next week. I thought I already had the stream sorted out.
Sometimes they send a follow-up though, don't they? Or they change the number.
I did notice on a couple of Sundays ago I'd only booked the first 3 days of that one and hadn't booked the Durham game down at our place in September. Just a subliminal thing.
Petman coming in from the Finkel end, right arm round, bowling to Maddinson, who plays the ball up to mid-on. It bobbles its way up there. Aitchison fields it.
So that was quite an expansive looking shot, wasn't it, really?
Didn't time it well, did you?
No.
I haven't had any emails from Mervyn today, but I can see his cap. There's MCC Panama at the far corner of the ground. Petman in. Maddinson plays that through mid-wicket. It's gone between the two fielders who you said were too close together if both of them decide to go for the same ball.
I think the reason I think they're not too close together, I think they're the wrong way round, because the fielder on the left is left-handed, the fielder on the right is right-handed, so the ball goes in the middle. Neither of them are going with it, but of course if they're the other way round, they're both going.
Yeah.
It's a conundrum. It's a real conundrum.
It's a canology.
Canology.
Petman bowls. Oh, that was nearly a stunning catch. I think that was off the ground. It was. Maddinson's met that on the bounce and hammered it out to short extra cover. Who was that in there?
Cartwright.
Cartwright got a hand on it and nearly caught his fellow countryman out. Had it stuck, that would have been a perler.
Greg's been in touch. He's been enjoying the commentary with me and young Martin. The range of topics you talk about is astonishing. Young Martin must do well in pub quizzes. The two of you are a great comedic duet. Or duo, I think, really, Greg, but not so much a duet. Almost as good as me and Bob Hunt, he says.
Bob was a good crack, wasn't he?
Terrific, Bob.
Had a cracking week with Bob at Cheltenham a few years ago. As Petman comes in to bowl to Beddingham, the ball bounces off the keeper who chases across the square leg to retrieve it. You haven't done a Cheltenham Festival week,
No,
have you?
I've never been at Cheltenham.
So 2018, each morning they invited us into the marquee where the guests and members were to do a sort of 20-minute chat about how the game had gone and highlights from the day before. It was just such a laugh. The thing was, you knew the players could hear it all as well out on the field, and you wondered how it was going to go down with them. They could hear the speakers out there as they were doing their warm-ups. Ball played here to mid-off.
I've had a follow-up email regarding the Derbyshire-Nottinghamshire stream, which says, ignore the previous email. I went into autopilot, put it in the wrong email and title.
You will not receive this from the Guardian again.
That's exactly right, yeah. Please reply with your bank details.
Is it a German doctor who happens to be living in Africa somewhere? Petman again, balls. Ball goes out into the covers, no run there.
It was for days 1, 2 and 3 of Essex against Somerset. So I know what stream they're on as well now. Excellent.
Well, you could dial in their stream and block the line.
Well, that happened to me earlier this season. It must have happened to everybody else as well, but it turned out to be Deutsch.
Who? Deutsche?
Yeah.
Yorkshire trying to sabotage your...
So she said, give me 30 seconds and then redial. And she just disconnected him and let me dial in.
They do sometimes. They send out, for each match we do, we have to book a stream for 3 or 4 days or a 1 day or whatever, and they give you a number that you dial in, but sometimes there are cross wires and people dial in the wrong number or whatever.
I think he did it on purpose. 4 members of the backroom staff of Derbyshire are now gathered at square leg on the boundary as Ben Aitchison begins a new over from the Lumley end, and that one is defended by Maddinson up towards mid-on, where it'll be fielded by Alex Thompson. I'm trying to work out, it's Lewis Rees who's out there. He's holding his left elbow at the moment. Well, that might just be the way he's standing. He's talking to Mickey Arthur, and the physio's there with him as well, as is the analyst and the assistant coach.
It's just the way he's got his arm crossed.
Comes in. He's holding that arm, isn't he? Might just be the way he's standing and holding the elbow. Yeah, he's moving it now. That's okay. That one was defended by Maddinson, and there's no run. It's a terrible time with injuries. Had 2 operations in the winter. One on his shoulder, one on his knee. Here's Aitchison again, who's not been much better with injuries, and that one is an attempt to smash it into next week from Maddinson. The ball goes absolutely nowhere. That would have been close to hitting the top of the flagpole on the Lumley Castle. Or it might have floated up to Lewis Rees. It was a shot that he doesn't need to play. They're here to save a game, Durham, now, I think, as this next one is defended. That's better. Out into the onside, picked up by Wayne Madsen, and there's no run. Griff's just down to our right hand side at the moment in the Durham stand. Wide awake as in comes this next delivery that's outside the off stump and guided away down to the vacant third man area for 4 runs by Nick Maddinson, who's played a number of those shots, both off Aitchison and Lewis Rees, who started to warm up down at square leg. Maddinson moves on to 30 and Durham 138 for 3 now. 248 is their requirement from 42 overs and 1 ball. 33 runs off 70 balls, so what, 11 and a half overs just over these 2. Maddinson 30 from 52 as Aitchison bowls to him, and that strikes in his pad, but would have been going down leg side. Around from the back of the stumps comes, or behind the stumps comes Brooke Guest. That's the end of the over. 138 for 3. Go on. I've got to go.
48 for 6 England there. A tweet on the BBC cricket hashtag 6, 4 and out from Theo sums up England at the moment. No sense of the situation.
From who?
From Theo, who's a listener.
Oh right.
They have 21 overs left, so a 6 and a 4 and then out.
Yeah. Well, I'll bring him home. That's what I say.
Bring our brave lads home from Lords. It's nearly past, Dave. Lewis Rees having a chat with Billy Godlem, and the breeze has just got up again and the wind has changed direction. It's now pointing right at our microphone. Hear it blowing away there. Rees is going to a left arm from the Finkel end, our end of the ground. Left arm over, has got 2 short mid wicket, 1 short extra cover. Comes in and bowls. Keeper standing up to the stumps, played by Beddingham. Out into the covers. No run. And a sign that the wind's just a little bit on the chilly side today. The majority of the Derbyshire players are in long sleeve tops now. Hilton Cartwright is fielding in the covers. Deploying Madsen both at short mid wicket. That's a Yorker. It's dug out. Played to deploy, in the short extra cover. It's Dahl and Madsen who are at short mid wicket. 1 fielder on the boundary at deep mid wicket. Rees in again, he bowls, whipped away, out to deep mid wicket, 4-2 for Beddingham, and thrown back in to the keeper's end, but it's a good 10 yards from the stumps and the keeper spills it. The batsmen have come to a stop anyway. He's just going to come round the wicket now to the right-handed Beddingham. It's a long leg in the deep mid-wicket for Beddingham. He was on 21, 140 for 3. Played back to the bowler by the batsman. Bit of a bump ball, and it hit him on the wrist as it was returned. Bowler comes in again. This is flicked away and through deep mid wicket for 1 run by Beddingham. .330. Tea will be in 10 minutes. You're looking for some cricket to go and watch next week because Durham don't have a game on Thursday at Eppleton, 1 o'clock. Thursday the 21st of July, a North East Premier League 11 will take on an MCC 11 at Eppleton Cricket Club, which is not too far from Houghton-le-Spring, the outskirts of Sunderland, and that is the end of the over. 41 overs to go. 43 so far have happened in this innings when Durham came out today with a target, an improbable target of 386, let's be fair. What do they have? 84 overs were left in the day, so 245. They're only 141 for 3 at the minute. I can't see they're in a position where they can think about starting to throw the bat at this one. So this looks like it's going to be another draw, unless you would think Derbyshire can get the wickets. And again, I said that at the start of the day's play that taking 10 wickets on a track here this year on the final day has been nigh on unknown. It was only the Glamorgan game really where there was suddenly a flurry of wickets. It's not been playing like that really here since the square was relayed a couple of winters ago. Thompson, the spinner, is going to come into the attack. He got some wickets in the first innings. I don't wish to put a dampener on what he did. He got 3 for 48 in 14.2 overs, but the batsmen generally, their eyes lit up and they got themselves out playing bad shots. Think of Liam Travascus hitting him for a 4 and a 6, defended the third ball of the over and then tried to smash him out the ground again and got bowled, lost his off stump. Rain got done slog sweeping. This is defended by Beddingham on off stump. Rushworth was the last man to go. He was on 33 when they brought Thompson back in and he edged him to first slip. Comes in and bowls again, flights that in. Ball played down to mid-on. No run. Right arm over Thompson. Little flick towards the leg side here. Bright sunshine in Chester Street. It's bowling off spin from the Lumley end. Got a short leg in place, one slip in Wayne Madsen. Leg gully as well. Beddingham looks to cut this one and in the end he just plays it into the ground and short on the offside to Cartwright in the covers. 4 strips across on that offside Cartwright from the batsman. Looks to cut again and does so, finds himself a bit of room and guides that down towards deep backward point. Maddinson on strike now as Thompson comes around the wicket to the left-hander. He looks to sweep and he's out. Got himself out. Eyes lit up. Just as I said, the players who were dismissed by Thompson in the first innings got themselves out playing silly shots, and Maddinson faces his first ball from Thompson and tries to hammer him into the leg side, and he's out LBW. 5 minutes to go to tea. What a shot to be playing in those circumstances. 4 wickets down now, Durham. And that was awful. That was an awful piece of cricket. Can't help themselves. Durham are 142 for 4. 41 runs added there for that partnership. Second power cut appears to have hit us and wiped our kit out. We're hopefully back on air now. Who's the new batsman? Liam Travaskis. Well, Durham are now in the territory where Derbyshire will fancy the chances of taking these wickets here, and will certainly not be minded to be thinking of shaking hands on a draw. They've got to get into tea without having lost another wicket.
I think 8 minutes is long enough to wait for somebody to come to you. Here's Lewis Rees from the Finkel end, bowling to the new batsman Liam Travaskis, who defends it into the onside where it's fielded by Wayne Madsen, and there's no run. Not sure about that shot from Nick Maddinson.
Awful.
Here comes Rees again. I thought you might have an opinion. That one is defended into the onside, and this time it's Leas Deploy who does the fielding. What I'm going to try and do is, I don't know how to do this really with 2 sets of headphones, but I'll give it a go. I reckon I can do this, just in case they come to me. There we go. As long as you can still hear me, we're all right. Yeah. That one is turned down the leg side, is it? No.
What did you say?
Goes down the leg side. And Lewis Rees is running. Of course, it's T, isn't it? T's about to hit us. That's why he's running, because he wants to see if he can get another over, and he's still got 2 deliveries to go, and he's not going to manage it, I don't think, and Travaskis is going to try to make sure he doesn't as well. As Rees is in and bowls to Travaskis, turns it into the leg side. They go through for a single. There's a shy at the stumps from Connors, and he's been run out. That is a terrific throw from Sam Connors, and Beddingham has gone now in the over before tea. Connors is doing a lap of honour out there. It was good work from him. They went through for the quick single. Beddingham's gone. Durham are 5 down now, and Derbyshire need 5 more wickets for victory. Well, what are they doing? What are they doing? They've self-destructed here, have Durham. Sam Connors with the throw. They went through for the quick single. It never really looked on. if I'm entirely honest with you. And to get both Maddinson and David Beddingham just before tea is an absolute bonus for Derbyshire. 23 for Beddingham off 58 deliveries, 3 fours. And they do now leave the field for tea, and there are plenty of smiles on the faces of the Derbyshire management team as they walk across the field. So at tea, Durham 142 for 5 rather, 142 for 5. They still need 244, but Derbyshire, well, they just need 5 wickets in the evening session.
What a shocking passage of play from the home team there in the over before the break. Absolutely unbelievable. Well, Derbyshire now will fancy their chances. They should never have been put into a position like that, Derbyshire, by these Durham batsmen. What were they thinking of? Hopefully there will be no more power cuts, and we'll have an uninterrupted final session of this match, which will be coming your way in 20 minutes' time.
My love of Spitfires came as a small boy going to air shows with my dad. Working on Spitfires is a huge responsibility, and the same applies at work.
The care and expertise Derek takes over his beloved Spitfire is the same precision, passion and attention to detail he takes helping you choose your next perfect car. Because at Virtue Motors, it's all in the detail.
We've always been good at designing niche products for consumers. So our thinking was, if we can use the same design skills on products which have got more volume, we'll be more successful. The big issue was the plan to do it. We set a figure of a capacity to make 250,000 pieces a year. That's an ambitious target, that's our figure. So we then worked with the machinery designers to make the washing machines. Number one in this product, it's got to be reliable. A washing machine has a lot of hard work to do, and it's a very important part of most households. So reliability was a big issue. I think any new product, we've got to learn about it, and that's important. We've got to learn about it so we understand it inside out. And that's taken longer than we expected, but we've taken our time to make sure that it's right. There's a big appetite for buying British products, and rightly so, but we can't rely on that. We've got to make a product that competes with all the imports. And of course, remember, we've got our core business here of making domestic dehumidifiers and bottled water coolers and industrial dehumidifiers, so that takes our time, and we don't want to get this wrong. We've done 120,000 hours of testing washing machines here to make sure that it's absolutely reliable and does the job.
days of bolting nimbly over the seats. Truly like that. Yeah. Style points are important. Well, as a whole, perhaps not. The rain just kept off with one or two indications. Walking days, you often see a shower in back to finish your sandwich. Yes, that's distinctive, isn't it? Yeah. You look at this. Modern art museum. Enjoy it as a painting. That would be your shell for your house. Of course you. When I worked in northern Germany, I loved the huge vault of the sky, very, very flat land. Quite like the Dutch landscape, very flat, the dikes that the sea. Yeah. Must be trying to hang on. There's rock. Yeah. Well, if we get him into the floor of Durham, it's not a bad outcome, considering the blooded some youngsters, 3 youngsters. Give them a chance. Allowing them to street forward. He's kept very well. Passing for a 50. He was about 100.
Please welcome again your match umpires, Neil Mallender and Ian Blackwell. Please also welcome the Derbyshire team, led by Captain Billy Buck. Resumes the Durham Liam Travaskis and Ben Ray.
Just keep there at the last.
Well, the players are back out now for this final session of this match, and Derbyshire have 39.1 overs in which to try and get the remaining 5 wickets. Self-destruct cricket from Durham just before the break there. Can't quite believe what I witnessed as Maddinson got himself out. LBW to Alex Thompson. Slog sweeping the first ball he faced of him in the over as Thompson had come into the attack. He was on 13 and Beddingham got himself ran out 5 balls later. So 2 new batsmen in the middle. And Ben Rain it is who's come out into the middle now. Just got to bat sensibly, but the pressure will now be on Durham here when there didn't appear to be any before. Rees then, left arm over from the Finkel end, bowling to Rain. He flicks the first ball away off his legs down towards long leg for 1 run. Chris says, I am in utter disbelief at what I have just witnessed. Scott says, this is the Durham we all know and love. Raymond says, that was a very poor session. And Gareth says, run out in the over before tea when playing for a draw is peak Durham.
Continuing on the lovely end, Alex Thompson.
So that was the final ball then of that over that began before tea. Damien's just questioning a lot of things in his tweet about the number of losses and draws Durham are likely to accrue this year. The best outcome in this one, of course, is now a draw. And at no point today did I ever think chasing 386 was likely. Thompson then starts a new over and he's bowling to Rain, who he got out in the first innings, slog sweeping. Got a top edge which Wayne Madsen took at first slip, looped high into the air and then came down into his hands. There's a short leg in place. There's nobody on the leg side boundary. She's an off spinner. This is nudged past short leg along the floor to backward square leg, or leg gully. Dave Fletcher alongside me, Martin Emerson. You got enough knots in your lead there, Dave?
It's remarkable, has he done that?
Thompson in again. Well, that one pops on rain, and he manages to leave it at the last second outside the line of off stump. There's each knot to remind you of something, but you can't remember what they're all for now.
I have no idea what's going on.
Dave Brown says some close finishes coming up at Durham and in the Yorkshire match. Good to see, although it may be stressful for the fans, he says. This is defended. England 200 for 6 in 39.5 overs now against India.
Not bad.
What's happening at Scarbados then? Ian Poulter's been booed at St Andrews on day one of the Open. How many more will be booed for joining the Live Tour?
There's only about 14 of them playing, isn't there? I think something like that. Yeah, not many.
And this is defended by Rain. He snuffs it out on a length there. What a Surrey. Surrey need 194 to win on a tight ground like Scarborough. They're 33 for 1. Here we go. Update now. Well, Durham got their fist and smashed it hard on the self-destruct button just before tea. They were going along quite nicely until Alex Thompson came on to bowl. He's an off-spinner, and Nick Maddinson decided he was going to try and slog sweep the first ball he'd faced off him. He was on 30 at the time. He went LBW. This was just in the run-up to tea, and then seconds later, 5 balls later, in fact, David Beddingham got himself run out when he was on 24, so really poor cricket from Durham. Suddenly they're 5 down for 144 at tea, and that meant that Derbyshire then had 39 overs in which to try and get the 5 remaining wickets, so they'll be thinking they can see themselves over the line here and get their 3rd win in Chesty Street, and the last one was way back in something like 2004. Durham now have got another 38 overs to try and dig in and hang on for the draw.
Lewis Rees begins a new over. That one's down the leg side and collected by wicketkeeper Brooke Guest. He's bowling to Liam Travaskis, Ben Rain at the other end. Yeah, that Yorkshire game, they've done well to bowl Yorkshire out with 220 odd, wasn't it? Was it 220, 222? Something like that, 220. Sorry, 33 for 1, needing 194. They're going to have to go some to get 194 runs, although, as you say, outground. You never know. Rees is in and bowls, and that one is pushed out into the offside, fielded by Anuj Dal. And there's no run. 34 overs, or thereabouts, 33 overs, until the new ball. So they'll get a new ball for about 4 overs, and I just wonder if that will be the thing that denies them. Because it was these players who are coming in now scored all the runs in the first innings for Durham. But you can go on the attack.
Pressure's on now, though, isn't it?
Well, it is, and there's no slip in place either, which is slightly bizarre. That one is pushed into the onside, fielded by Madsen.
Mervin's emailed for the first time today. He says you couldn't write the script. And then he finishes with rubbish, Mervin.
Don't do yourself down like that, Mervin. You're all right. You could be at Hove. What a dreadful, dreadful game of cricket that is. 147 for 1, Sussex in their second innings, still trailing by 21. 15 wickets have fallen over the course of 4 days. That one is pushed into the onside by Travaskis and fielded by Wayne Madsen on the bounce. England Lions with George Scrimshaw in the side. Have beaten the South Africans. Scrimshaw. No, they haven't. That was the game the other day. You absolute fool, Fletcher. Where's the one from today? They haven't beaten them at all yet. They might not beat them either.
Because it's the middle of the night.
Yeah. The Snakes delivered, no. This is at New Road. One was pushed up to mid-off by Travaskis, and there's no run. So South Africa made 360 for 7, and the Lions are 91 for 3 in reply. Scrimshaw 1 for 64 from his 10 overs, which made him the 3rd most economical bowler. David Payne and Jake Lintop both going for close to 9 runs and over in that one. Here's Reese again, bowls to Travaskis, who turns that into the leg side once again. No run. And the pressure, as Martin said, is definitely on Durham here. 140 made over from Lewis Reese, 144 for 5. And we've had 1 run since tea. So they're in survival mode with still 37 overs remaining. 4 overs with a new ball, that's what they'll get.
Thompson to Rain. Ball played out towards the offside to Dahl, no run there. So Madsen's at first slip. We've got who's that? Deep backward square leg.
Thompson, I think. It could be Petman.
They're appealing for an LBW outside the line of off stump here. Not given.
Petman.
With Godleman's top on.
Yes. Yeah, that's always useful, isn't it?
Yeah, so he's at backward square leg for the slog sweep top edge. Got a short leg in place as well, and Reese is down in sort of deep gully position, or backward point. Short mid off, short mid on. Ball flicked by Rain off the fielder at short leg. I think it's hit his box.
Nice deploy.
I think he's alright. He's got a bit of a grin on his face under the helmet there.
Well, if you can't laugh.
Thompson in again. That one's turned away by Rain through mid-wicket. Durham needs some real determination from their batsmen now. No silliness. This calls for proper cricket. Thompson again, right arm round to the left-handed Rain. Rain with a big stride forward to play that one back to the bowler. It's a long time since Derbyshire tasted victory in the North East. There've only been the two, 2001 and 2004. Comes in here and bowls. And around about that period, because they were both in the first division in the first year of the first division. That's a dot ball, that's the end of the over, a maiden from Thompson. And Durham finished 9th in 1999, which was the highest finish in the county championship, and so they ended up in Division 1 at the start with the 2 division structure. Derbyshire were with them in Division 1 the next year. Then Durham finished 8th in 2000, which was their highest finish in the county championship, and got relegated. And then for the next few years, they and Derbyshire, who were both relegated at the same time, just swapped places at the bottom of the table.
Lewis Reese begins a new over from the Finkel end, and he just gets his bat down on that, Liam Travaskis.
I think Durham finished, I think they were bottom in 2004 of Division 2, and then the following year they actually got promoted. Mike Hussey came, Dale Bankenstein came, there were 1 or 2 changes in personnel, and they ended up runners up in Division 2 County Championship to Lancashire, and got promoted and then stayed up until the ECB relegated them in 2016. They were longest serving side in Division 1.
Reese in again, that one's turned into the leg side by Travaskis, fielded by Madsen.
But also, since they were relegated, and they've been in a Division 2 side since 2017, they've never really looked like being in the promotion hunt. And this year, so far, this is game number 9, 1 win. Lots of draws, 5 draws, 2 defeats, and they'll be desperate to make sure that defeats column remains at 2 come the end of this one. Derbyshire have won 2, lost 2 and drawn 4 from their 8.
Short legs coming in. We're going to get 2 men. We're going to continue with 2 men at mid-wicket. They might as well attack. Can't imagine for a moment that Durham are going to get these runs now. if I'm honest. As Lewis Rees goes in and bowls to Travaskis, and he turns that down towards long leg, fine leg really, and he picks up a leg by, signalled by the umpire. 145 for 5. The score moves on to 241 in 35 overs is not going to be achieved, you wouldn't have thought. Can they get the 5 wickets crowding the batsman? First ball faced in this over by Ben Rain is pushed up to Billy Godleman at mid-off. A couple of balls left in the over. Around about 2 hours 20 left in the game. Plenty of time for Derbyshire. As long as they keep believing, and they can change this ball at some point, which they almost certainly will. Rees is in and bowls. That's down the leg side and nicely taken. Stumps up. Bales removed by Brooke Guest. Pops them on himself to prevent Neil Mallender having to jog in from square leg. So it's Petman down at long leg and Alex Thompson at backward point. Sam Connors is in the covers. There's 2 at mid-wicket. There's 2 close mid-wickets and a short leg, as well as an extra cover as Rees bowls. That's on target and played back to him by Ben Rain. He fields at the end of his follow through, picks up with his right hand and then gives the ball straight to he's got no number on his back now, Hilton Cartwright, for some reason. So we've got one man with no number on his shirt wearing Billy Godleman's sweater, and one man with a number on his shirt now wearing a sweater with no number. At least we're not in the entertainment business where people need to know who the players are out there. 145 for 5. Travaskis yet to get off the mark. Ben Rain has 1. 35 overs remain. And 241 runs to win, or 5 wickets for Derbyshire.
15 minutes to the next update, Dave.
It's got a knot in me. I don't know which knot it is though. I've only had these about a month. I've never twisted them.
No. Thompson from the Lumley end round the wicket to Travaskis. The left-hander. Travaskis forward to play this one, pushes it out into the offside, no run there. You need to unplug them from the machine and hold them up so it sort of untwists itself. It'll go back round the other way a bit and then eventually it'll sort itself out. Thompson round the wicket again, bowls. Travaskis plays to Dahl, who's at short extra cover. The Pied Wagtails have just flown away, having had a little bit. Oh, there's one on the pitch, having had a bit of tea. Bowler comes in and bowls, and it's played back to him by Travaskis. Must have really good eyes. This Pied Wagtail's darting along the surface, and every now and then, wham! Spotted something at once for its tea. Couple of mites and grubs, and away it goes.
It says wham as well as he's moving. Yeah.
It's his favourite chocolate bar as well, the Wham bar.
Can you still get them?
Don't know. Do you know what his favourite football stadium is?
The Pied Wagtail? The Accrington Stanley Stadium?
No, he preferred Feetham's. This is once again defended by...
I used to love Feetham.
It was a great little ground. I loved going there. Yeah. And then they moved to the new stadium, which I thought was nice, but couldn't understand why Darlington were playing in it. And it was out of town. I went to about 2 matches there, and that was it. Got themselves in financial trouble, and that was the end of that. I think Feetham's is now a housing estate.
Is it?
I think so.
Yeah, there was a really good big stand, wasn't it? The main stand was huge.
That was cracking, yeah. 145 for 5, yeah. In comes the bowler, and this is cut by Travaskis. It loops across the outfield past point, and you'll get a couple of runs there. I used to ring a guy at Darlington who was called Luke Rain, who was the press officer who worked with George Reynolds and I mean, George was obviously quite a character.
Quite a character, yeah.
Recently died.
Was he?
Yeah. Luke Rain was a really nice guy, actually, and he used to organise every now and then some press passes to pop along, and he used to get us tickets in the director's lounge. And then there was one night I arrived there with my dad, and as we were walking to the main gate, it just suddenly dawned on me that I hadn't actually rung him. I'd forgotten all about it.
No mobile phones.
Well, you could never get a signal in Feethams, despite the fact the town was run by a mobile phone company. I remember covering a cricket match there, and I had to have a landline installed.
Lewis Rees begins a new over, and that one is striking the pad but going down leg side. Picked up by Liz deploys at short leg.
Anyway, we got to the gate, and I thought, and the guy said, "Can I help you?" And I think he sort of realised who I was, and I said, "Press, you wait. This is a long time ago, but I mean, Feethams hasn't been around for about 25 years, or something, is it?"
Yeah.
Well, 20 years maybe. So he waved me through, and I thought, when we get to the next set of gates...
Rees bowls, and that one's pushed out into the offside. Good stop by Cartwright, leaping to his left, gets his left hand to it.
What they used to do was, you would go through the main turnstiles where the cricket ground was, then you would walk round the cricket field. When you got the far end, there was another set of gates, and you'd hand your ticket in there. So they used to have this bag, and it was dark. So I just picked up a leaf and went to put the leaf in the bag, and I missed. And the guy says, "Oh, you've missed, have another go." So that night when they got back to the counting house, there would have been 2 leaves in their bag, and they wouldn't have any idea where they'd come from.
Excellent. Rees bowls, it's guided out to backward point by Ben Rain, no run.
Anyway, before anybody accuses me of fraud, as soon as I got into the ground, I went to see Luke and said, "Look, I forgot to ring you," and he said, "Oh, here's a couple of passes." So, but we used to watch Darlington all the time, particularly if Sunderland were away and we weren't on the road with Sunderland. Down Feethams all the time. It was a great ground. You're right on top of the action. You could hear everything going on the pitch. Fans used to swap ends at half time.
Yeah. Rees bowls, that one is inside edge onto pad, out into the onside. Madsen does the fielding. Halifax Town got relegated there.
Oh, did they?
One Easter. When they were managed by Paul Bracewell.
Oh.
Actually, he'd left by then, I think. He walked out fairly early in the season and failed to return any calls. Thank you, Paul, if you're listening.
He might be. He lives up here.
Yeah, I know.
He was running some 5-a-side centres, wasn't he, at one time?
Dreadful manager. In goes Rees over the wicket, bowls, and that one is turned into the leg side, fielded by Anuj Dahl, who's the squarer of the 2 mid-wickets, and there's no run.
Had 2 spells at Sunderland, played for Newcastle.
Yeah.
Managed Fulham for a while, didn't he?
He did, yeah, after Keegan. And then came to Halifax and took them out of the Football League. It was a terrific effort. Neil Redfern was in charge by the time they were relegated, but I managed to bump into one of the directors in the car park afterwards.
Well, Laurie McMenemy won't admit he was responsible for Sunderland going into the 3rd division because he'd left by then.
Here comes Rees again, bowls a full-length delivery that's whipped down to long leg by Ben Rain for a single. That's the only run off the over. It's the last ball. 148 for 5. Rain has 2, and so does Travaskis. The thing about Bracewell was that he was very distant most of the time as manager at Halifax Town. But whenever the Nationals came, because obviously he was a big name, he always used to tell them how he used to take all the local journalists out for a drink and out for lunch and out for... Well, I never got anything off him.
Well, maybe all the other journalists.
And I was working for the Halifax Courier. No, he didn't take anybody out. And then bumped into this director who I managed to get to say, well, it's all Bracewell's fault, which was good. So that was my back page sorted out the next day. And then we had a phone call. It was all landlines, and it was Paul Bracewell saying, "I understand." I said, "Yeah." I said, "While you're on, do you want to say anything about it?" "No, just send me the copy of the paper." So I never did. If you want one, you can buy one, mate. You never bought me anything.
Calling for helmets, I think. Rains just defended the first ball from Thompson around about the time Bracewell got the sack.
From?
In that story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There was a ball.
Yeah, nothing happened though, did it?
No.
He didn't get the sack, he walked.
Oh, he walked, did he? Right?
Yeah, he walked. He bought all these players, spent a fortune.
What year ago was that then?
Oh.
Long time ago now.
Yeah.
25 years ago, was it? No, probably not that
2002.
far. 2002. 20 years ago then. Darlow left Feetham's around about 2004, I think. Thompson bowls. This is played late by rain out through deep mid-wicket, so they've brought in a silly point, and there's a short leg, there's a slip.
Cartwright at silly point.
Got 2 runs there.
150 up for Durham, make a note of that, Martin. 51 overs.
For how many? 5.
Still people clapping it. No idea why.
51.2 overs. Around the wicket comes Waters. It's not Waters. Tony Waters has tweeted me. This is Thompson bowling. That's defended as well by rain. Dahl's still in there at short extra cover as well. Got a mid on and a mid off, backward point and a cover. Rain nudges this one towards short mid wicket. Tony says, I wish you'd stop reminiscing about Feetham's. We all still miss the place, and you going on about it ad infinitum is saddening.
Yeah, sorry.
It's still a big topic of conversation among our fan base.
Play at the rugby ground now, don't they?
Well, when it opened, George Reynolds took me on a guided tour because I did a feature for the BBC.
Of the new ground?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went on one of them. Maybe it hadn't opened then, it was still being built.
They were finishing it off, I think. It's defended by rain.
Is it still there?
Yeah, I think Mowden Park. Was it Mowden Park? Was playing there.
Okay.
It's probably also a regular site for a Sunday morning car boot sale. I wouldn't be surprised.
Had a penthouse in it.
Did it?
Yeah, above the entrance.
That's a leave by rain. That's a good leave as well outside the Austin. Yeah, he took me on a guided tour and then halfway round just abandoned me and said he had other things to do. As I was in the middle of an interview with him, which I thought was a bit peculiar. But there was all these... I mean, it had escalators inside the stadium, which, even the Stadium of Light doesn't have escalators that I'm aware of.
Certainly doesn't have a lift up to the press box, I can tell you.
No,
that
it doesn't, no.
That's a long way,
well, because the press
way.
box used to be down in the lower tier. When I commentated on the Sunderland matches, we were at the back of the first tier downstairs.
Right, a long way up now.
Yeah. Well, we used to sit up in the Premier Concourse. I used to pop up to the press box at half time, but we got turfed out there 3 or 4 years ago. You remember the boardroom at the new ground, all the gold plated this and that.
No, well, I never went when
ornamental
it was complete.
Elephants.
Never went when it was complete because Halifax were not in the Football League anymore, of course. We were going to Altrincham at that point, where I was. In comes Lewis Rees, beginning of a new over. That's down the leg side. It hits the pad. It might have hit the wicket keeper actually, and there's no run. Yeah, George Reynolds came to Halifax in that season, I think it was, early on in the season, in a big Rolls Royce. I'm fairly sure it was a Rolls Royce. It might have been a Bentley. And the driver, who was a huge human being, just sat on the bonnet, leaning against the bonnet the entire game to make sure nobody touched it. And he wandered round the ground waving his Darlington scarf. This one's pushed into the onside. Wayne Madsen does the fielding. Travaskis on strike at the moment, who was a character. It was his wife who upset the players, wasn't it, at one point?
Yeah.
You need to do more for my George.
Well, Gary Bennett, who's one of our presenters on Radio Newcastle, I think he was the player coach at the time.
Yeah.
They all walked out, didn't they?
Yeah. It was like in a presentation even, wasn't she? She wasn't massively happy about something. And goes Rees again and bowls way outside the Austin. That's not a great delivery. Travaskis has nothing to do with it. Ball goes through to the keeper, Brooke Guest, who can't bring it in at the first attempt. 31 overs left after this one.
Mike Amos, who used to work as a columnist for the Northern Echo and was the chairman of the Northern Premier League for the Northern League for years. He brought out his autobiography a couple of years ago, and there's a chapter on George Reynolds. Some really funny stories in there.
Next delivery is punched into the offside up towards Billy Godalman at mid-off, no run.
They actually, because George was from the patch where Mike first started working in I think it was the Bishop Auckland office for the Darlington Dispatch and the Northern Echo, and that was where George Reynolds was earning a bit of a reputation for himself for varying things, and they ended up becoming quite good pals, to the point where Mike Amos was his best man for one of his weddings, but then wasn't invited to the next one after a series of events.
A chipboard magnet, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. He had a flat on our estate on the marina, and used to pop in the pub every now and then with a fistful of tickets for Darlington games.
In goes Rees and balls. The batsman is now surrounded. There are 2 extra covers. There are 2 mid-wickets. There's a short leg. He's getting a bit of advice here, Lewis Rees, from Hilton Cartwright as he walks back to his mark. Cartwright definitely in charge of keeping that ball in as good a condition as he possibly can. Rain in the air again. Some on the window in front of me, unless another bird's had a wee. And this one is defended straight back down the ground and just misses the stumps at the non-striker's end. It wouldn't have been out because nobody touched it. It's the end of the over. A maiden over from Lewis Rees. He's now bowled 8 overs, 3 maidens, 0 for 22. Travaskis has 2, Rain has 4. Durham, who are chasing nominally 386 to win, are 150 for 5. They haven't lost a wicket since tea. They haven't scored many runs either. As we approach 4:30, and I'm about to disappear. And there I was gone.
"31 overs remaining, 5 down." Target, remember, 386. Change of bowling as well. Connors into the attack against Rain. Ball played back to him. He's replaced Thompson. Oh, raining all of a sudden. Where does that come from? Somebody's now going to say the sky, but suddenly heavy rain. That's gone down the leg side. They're appealing. Oh, and Rain's gone and got himself caught. Well, the umpires are now going to have a chat about whether this should go off here. He's dabbed at one going down the leg side. The Connors bowling change makes the difference. And this is looking like a bad day for a very average looking Durham team this year. All the hope and the build up to the season was about challenging at the top of the table, and they've been nowhere near. And if they lose this one, then it's going to be realistically a battle to avoid the wooden spoon. The only thing that is helping them today is the fact that Sussex and Leicestershire are going to draw. But another leg side strangle in this game. I think that's about the 4th from Durham players. Certainly Maddinson and Beddingham in the first innings went down the leg side, and now Rain's done it as well. Can the teenagers be the heroes again? Tom McIntosh, who got 51 on his debut in the first innings. They need heroics from him again today now. And it's a case of trying to cope with the pressure that's built as well. Just 6 runs from that partnership. Rain only made 4. 53 for 2. The rain is actually still coming down quite steadily here. Sorry, where are we? 53.2 overs, that's what I should have said there, rather than 53 for 2. It's 150 for 6. And Durham is staring down the barrel of a defeat here, which will not go down well at all with the locals. Now Now the sun's out again. Weather can't seem to make its mind up what it wants to do. The briefest of heavy showers. Connors to McIntosh. It's a shortish one. McIntosh rocks out the road of it. Connors has got loads of people around the bat here, and McIntosh just guides that one down past third man for 4. Got 3 close in on the leg side, 2 short mid wickets, a short leg. Got a silly point. This ball to McIntosh just dropped short of short leg. $154 for 6. Connors in, bowls. McIntosh forward to this one, plays it back to him. End of the over then. 54 overs gone in this innings, 30 still to come. Just under 2 hours of play.
From the Mickle end, Alex Thompson.
Who's coming into the attack now? Thompson switching ends. Durham can somehow hang on in here. This is going to be a very long 30 overs. Got a slip, a short leg, and a silly point in position here for Travaskis, the left armour. Thompson right arm round with his off spin from the Finkel end. That's nudged round the corner, and Travaskis sets off late for a single there, and the keeper quite rightly got the ball back up to the bowler's end, but he managed to get in just there. Update coming for BBC Tees very shortly. Thompson comes in and bowls. Defended. And they might not even survive this one either. They've got themselves into a right mess just before lunch and just before tea and just after it. They were going along okay. They were 142 for 3. Clearly not chasing the target that had been set for them, which would be the biggest run chase on this ground by something like 47 runs. But then Nick Maddinson, eyes lit up. Alex Thompson, the spinner, came into the attack. The first ball Maddinson faced from him just before tea. He tried to slog sweep him, got himself out LBW for 30. And then in the next over, the over before tea, David Beddingham, who had looked quite tidy out in the middle, got himself run out on 24. So suddenly Durham 144 for 5. And then just after tea now, we've seen Ben Rain caught down the leg side for 4 off Connors. He should have left it alone. He was rather angry with himself. So Durham now have 29 overs to try and bat out to save this one. They're currently 155 for 6, so 231 more needed for the victory. So that's not the prospect at all here. It's about trying to survive. Can the teenagers do it for them again? Tom McIntosh, the debutant, who's 19, got 51 in the first innings. How Durham could do with something like that now. At the other end, Liam Travaskis is on 3. There we are.
Nicely done.
I'll try and unravel all these headphones now. I'm garrotting myself.
That final ball of the over, which one was scored, was played into the leg side. There was no run, so Durham 155 for 6, as Martin said. There are now 29 overs left. Both of these batsmen are going to have plenty of company for the remainder of this match, you would have thought. That shower that passed through was a bit unexpected.
Came out of nowhere, didn't it?
Yeah, and at one point it looked like it might be getting heavy. That was at the point that Ben Rain was out, ironically. When the rain came.
I wonder if it just put him off.
The rain went. And
when the rain came, that's like a power ballad from a Scottish rock band in the Run Rig or something, isn't it? Mid-80s maybe.
Here comes the rain again.
Yeah.
Sam Connors is going to continue from the Lumley end. Picked up a wicket in his last over. He's in now and bowls, and that one is defended by Travaskis. Back to him.
That was the Eurythmics, wasn't it?
It was.
That's they had Dave Stewart on Radio Newcastle a few weeks ago. Brought out a new album.
Yes, I think he was on Radio 5 as well.
He was on. Do you say he was interviewed on Channel 4 News one night as well?
Was he?
Yeah. From Sunderland. My wife went round to interview his dad once, and many moons ago, and there's all this memorabilia on show.
On eBay now. This next delivery is defended by Travaskis out into the offside, fielded by Lewis Rees.
A mate of mine was a nightclub bouncer in Sunderland in the 80s, and this guy turned up in a white Mercedes, came up to the steps, and he said, "Sorry mate, you can't come in, you've got jeans on and trainers." So this guy said, "Well, if I go home and get changed, will you let me in?" He said, "Yeah, but no jeans or trainers." So off he went. 20 minutes later, came back, smart suit on. "Yeah, come in." And then as the evening was drawing to a close, the manager of the nightclub said to my pal, "Kevin, I'd like to introduce you to Dave Stewart from the Eurythmics."
3 men close on the leg side, 2 wearing helmets, 1 not. The one who isn't is Wayne Madsen. As Connors comes in and bowls, that's left alone outside the off stump. The players on the leg side couldn't see how far away from the off stump that ball was, and it was a fair distance. It was a good leave by Travaskis. Went through to Brooke Guest. Not sure I'd recognise Dave Stewart, if I'm entirely honest with you. Not really my thing, the Eurythmics.
Yeah, they weren't bad.
Swapping around, and we're going to get a slip in place. That's going to be Wayne Madsen. So Lewis Rees has come across to be the straighter of the 2 mid-wickets, and he's not wearing a helmet. But the squarer mid-wicket, Hilton Cartwright, is. Connors is in and bowls. That one bang on target. Travaskis gets his bat down and it pushes it up to Billy Godleman at mid-off. They
were a couple for a while.
Were they?
Yeah, he met her, he went down to London, and I don't think he had anywhere to live, and she offered him a room or something like that. Anyway, they ended up as a couple for a few years. Was she working in a shop or something like that?
I don't know, she was in the Tourists before the Eurythmics, wasn't she? She only wanted to be with you.
Yeah.
Connors is in again. Travaskis waits and turns this to Lewis Rees at mid-wicket.
She was an angel, I miss her.
Was that one she did by herself later on? No, that would have bypassed me completely, Martin. That. Oh, there must be an angel. That one, yeah. Yeah, I do know it. Yeah.
Actually, Heaven Must Be Missing an Angel was Tavares, wasn't it?
I think so,
Yes. Wrong singer, wrong song.
Connors in and bowls. That one is defended by Travaskis. Out towards Billy Goldman again at mid-off. It's a maiden over from Sam Connors. 155 for 6 it remains. 28 overs to go now. Minimum thereof. Although I can't see them bowling quicker than more than 16 overs in the last hour. 2 for 34 Sam Connors now from his 10
might
overs.
have to get the spinners on and have a go from both ends.
Yeah.
What about Wayne Madsen, the unexpected hero?
Well, what they could do, of course, because you can have more than 16 overs in the last hour, is get the spinners on. Wayne Madsen is the perfect man because he gets through an over in about a minute. And then they'll have longer with the new ball, won't they? So, better make a note of when the last hour starts, which is not something I'm used to doing.
Is this me?
That certainly was.
Yeah, sorry. Thompson bowling that one.
Yeah.
We switched ends, have we? No?
I've
Must have done during the news bulletin.
Connors.
Did you? Sure, I was doing Connors before. Well, Thompson switched ends anyway. That was a dot ball, first ball. He's bowling right arm round from the Finkel end, and that's played into the ground by McIntosh. Chris Pinkney says, given how easy they made batting look, there shouldn't have been any prospect of a result here, excluding the outside chance of a Durham Bazball win, of course. But suddenly Durham now up against it, aren't they? Hanging on by the skin of their fingers. The skin of their teeth, isn't it?
Pretty much the skin of the teeth,
yeah. What's the other thing you hang on by?
Fingertips.
Fingertips. There you are. The skin of their fingers.
The tips of their teeth.
Thompson in bowls, defended on the length round about middle stump from McIntosh. The skin of their teeth. No, the skin of the fingers. Yeah, he should hang on by them. That's a sort of natural thing to do, really. 3 balls in. Thompson in, bowls. Faster delivery, played away again, back towards the bowler's end. So we've got 1, 2, 3. There's about 6 fielders round the bat here. We've got a leg slip in now, short leg slip, keep her up to the stumps. Very short mid wicket, and a short extra cover in there as well. All hoping for a little edge, or just an over exuberant push at the ball. Coming over the wicket now, trying a different little bit of line there, drifting that one in, played away safely on the offside to Rees, no run.
Blustery out there, the Derbyshire flag's disappeared. I'm assuming it's been taken down rather than blown away, but you wouldn't discount it having blown away.
No. If it's blown away, it would have ended up over here somewhere, wouldn't it? There wasn't much left off it by the looks of things. A little drifter there from Thompson, that's at the end of the over. And it is a maiden. So that's his 4th in 8 overs, 1 for 6. All about survival now, this.
Yeah. A lot of defensive shots between now and whenever we finish in, what, an hour and a half's time, something like that.
Oh, the president of Sri Lanka has resigned. He's not even in the country anymore, is he?
He left the country 2 days ago. The Prime Minister was struggling. Clinging on by his eyelids or something. I'm not sure what it was.
Nick Maddinson, the Durham batsman, who's got himself out just before tea for 30, he has just arrived from an Australia A tour of Sri Lanka.
Yeah, that's where Shan Masood is at the moment. Certain amount of unrest there. 3 players in a little ring on the leg side now. A short-ish forward square. Oh no, they're changing. I'll not bother. Gonna have a leg slip. I think that's Hilton Cartwright. And as Dahl has gone into one of the 2 mid wickets, and he's not a short leg anymore. He's a sort of forward square leg, but quite close. 2 slips and a leg slip, and in comes Sam Connors and bowls, and it's pushed into the leg side and fielded by Lewis Rees. Just feel a bit out of it if you're Alex Thompson, who's down at long leg. or Toby Petman, who's at backward point. Billy Godman's at mid-off, of course, because that's where he always fields, but everybody else is around the bat to a degree. Not massively close, because Connor's quite sharp, and he is capable of bowling a very sharp delivery as well. In comes Connors again and bowls. That one's in the air and caught! No, dropped by Lewis Rees. I'm not sure if it carried, in all honesty, but it's or what it came off.
It's out of shot on the camera.
Yeah, he dived away to his right hand side. There's no hands on heads, which suggests that perhaps there wasn't any bat in it, but Travaskis couldn't control it, whatever he hit it with. And Lewis Rees put in the dive but couldn't hold on to it, if indeed he had it at any stage. So just wipe that bit of the Ultra Brot, will he? In comes Connors and bowls, and that one just jags in a little bit, and Travaskis does well to play it out into the onside, fielded by Anuj Dal. Nick says Annie Lennox also graduated from the Royal Academy of Music. I don't know whether Stuart did.
England all out for 246 in the 49th over.
At least they might get to play sometime beyond tea. In comes Connors and balls to Travaskis.
That's got to be a wide.
Short delivery down the leg side. It would have been a wide had Travaskis bowled it this morning. But
how's the Travaskis ball a wide?
Because Travaskis is batting now, they're not wides anymore.
All right.
Yeah. I think they're I'm sure I've seen that regulation.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because that one this morning. Well, I said at the time and have continued to say I thought that was harsh. I don't think it's going to make a great deal of difference in the grand scheme of things, but I thought it was harsh.
Carse was out LBW for 2 for Durham. There for England.
Fifth ball of the over. It's turned into the leg side. It'll be fielded by Alex Thompson down below us. So a certain amount of Travaskis looking after McIntosh. I'm not sure whether Tom McIntosh needs looking after the way he batted in the first innings. Batted very nicely indeed for his maiden half century in first class cricket on debut. Still to come McAlinden, Rushworth and Salisbury. Not necessarily in that order. Salisbury will come in ahead of Rushworth, will he?
Yeah.
Will he come in ahead of McAlinden?
Probably, I would have thought so. Yeah, I mean,
just on experience. I know he's a night watchman, so just on experience. Presume, my word, they've reinforced the leg side, which I didn't think was possible.
There's 4 in there now.
Unbelievable. Here comes Connor's final ball of his over, bowls to McIntosh, who gets hit on the pad. There's a big appeal for leg before. Well, there's a half-hearted appeal in the end for leg before, because he started off looking like he was very interested. Sam Connors must have got a little inside edge on it or something along those lines, because it soon stopped. Billy Godleman has a word with Connors, and Durham survive another over. 26 to go now. They're 156 for 6. Both McIntosh and Travaskis have 4 apiece. Alex Thompson's raced. Oh no. Anuj Dal's coming back. Pittman looked like he might be interested for a moment. He's taking his cap off. I've seen the end of Thompson. I think it makes sense just to rotate the bowler so the batsmen don't get used to any particular bowler. And we all know you can get bowled out in under 20 overs, because we saw it happen on Saturday night. It happened in 12 overs. So they could bowl a side out twice in the 26 that remain if they were on the money. Not that they need to. They just need 4 more wickets, Derbyshire. Can they get there?
Just watching the Beddingham run out again. And he's called through, isn't he, by Travaskis, who's played it straight to Connors at square leg.
Absolutely. There was never a run there. Never a run.
Suicidal cricket.
Oh no. Anuj Dal has done this thing. He does this thing when he warms up. The ball goes up in the air, and that one went straight up in the air and came down and landed on his head. That won't do him any good. Excellent work from Anuj Dal. He's already got 2 wickets.
1, 2, 3 close in on the leg side in catching positions there. 3 short mid wickets. Short extra cover as well. One slip. First ball's played back to the bowler.
Dal had no idea where Hilton Cartwright was there because he was looking for him to polish the ball. They've kept this ball going. This ball is now 58 overs old. It's the same ball.
Unbelievable.
Don't we get a point for that?
It's a watershed moment in modern cricket. Travaskis leaves that ball. It goes in the keeper's gloves. He has the bails off quickly. So if you got there, you got Thompson at short extra cover, Madsen, Rees, and who's this?
Cartwright.
Cartwright in the short mid-wicket, 3 in the short mid-wicket position. Godalman is at mid-off. How often does he field there, Dave?
Well, he's usually at slip. It's not very often. He might do it in T20 cricket, but...
In he comes and bowls, defended on a length. That rolls out to one of the short mid-wickets, Madsen.
Burton Albion are about to announce another signing because they've just... You know how the clubs are doing many different ways to try and announce a signing. They've done this one. They've tweeted, can someone tweet sign someone so we can do a teaser, please? Very good. Well done to Ash and the team. Just tell us who it is, mate, will you? Stop all this teasing business. Got another man coming in close because the helmet is being placed. It's going to be short leg, I think.
Durham did that a few months ago and I still didn't have a clue.
They love to do it, and then they'll show a pair of gloves or a pair of boots, and you think, right, well, if it's a pair of gloves, it's the keeper, but they've already signed one of those.
4 now?
Yeah, short legs. Come in.
4 short legs. Well, three short mid-wickets. Oh, that's gone off the point. I'm worried that there's that many fielders now on that leg side. The pitch is going to tip upwards and go left because there's too many on that side. It's going to unbalance this field. 5-2, Dave.
Loads of time. Cut the one at 4 o'clock a bit fine.
2 balls left of this over, and then there's 25 to go minimum. Played by Travaskis out into short extra cover. Connors is in there now.
21 overs until a new ball. They'll be the last pair out there in the middle with the new ball and they'll survive.
That happened to Durham twice against Kent in 2017. Had the last pair at the crease in Canterbury and here, and in both occasions they ended in draws. And they're bringing a fielder up from the long leg boundary to backward square leg as Dal bowls, and Travaskis defends this. I couldn't imagine for the life of me seeing the ball going out on that leg side down that way.
No.
That's the end of the over. It's a maiden. 25 more to tick off and the job's a good one. Not sure there's enough time for Durham to win now though.
No, it'd be a good win from here, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Really good win from here.
230 needed from here.
Almost 10 and over. We'll see some fireworks. Sam Connors is going to continue from the Lumley end. 5 o'clock the announcement apparently. For Burton Albion. Hopefully get to see them a week on Friday. Connors started, then stopped, and Thompson, feeling a little left out, moves a bit closer. He's at a normal mid-wicket. There's 2 of the mid-wickets, a short leg, a short cover, 2 slips. Connors is in and bowls to McIntosh, who pushes this one out square on the offside for 4. Just dabbed it down into the ground, really. There's nobody out there, of course. Why would there be? No, we should only need to defend anything from this point. They cannot lose. There you go, I've said it. They want Petman in 3.5 yards. That's long leg. I think he might be trying to tell him he's bowling soon, but here's Connors in and bowls. That's way wide of the off stump. And it goes through to the keeper, Brooke Guest, left alone by Tom McIntosh. I don't think that Petman likes wearing his cap because at every available opportunity he takes it off. He's looking at the label now. I think perhaps it's a size too small. Or too big. Sam Connors' cap is too big, because every time he runs it falls off. He's not wearing it at the moment, of course, because he's bowling. And he's in and bowls to McIntosh, who guides this down into the ground, out towards the point boundary. Dahl is chasing it. Look at him go. Absolutely astonishing. And they're going to come back for 3 runs. So McIntosh moves on to 11 and Durham up to 163 for 6. Dahl slowly makes his way back towards the action. Barely out of breath. Good effort. .24.5 overs to go. That last partnership, I actually wrote it down, 51 balls they chewed up, which was a good effort. These two have been together for 37. Leg slip, 2 slips, short leg, 2 mid-wickets, extra cover, point. Connors is in and bowls, and he plays at that one. Travaskis outside the off stump. Yeah, didn't need to play at that one. Just dangled his bat out there, really. Loads of time, Martin, unless your 5 o'clock's at a minute to.
Oh, there's silence on the line. I was still connected. Yeah. Mervyn says he's basically not happy about what he's witnessing, what's happening at the club, and he says it hurts to say so.
I'm loving what's happening. Not at Durham, but at Derbyshire. It's a completely different place this year. Connors in, bowls to Travaskis, who pushes this into the onside, fielded by Cartwright, no run.
Who knows, in 24 overs time Durham might have saved this game as a draw, and it'll be heroic.
Yeah, it will.
Grabbed from the jaws of defeat.
Derbyshire will be crestfallen.
Yeah. Griff's up the top of the pavilion steps. He thinks that he's going to get some good shots of the players coming off the field soon, look.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. I think that's exactly why he's there. And if they do win, he'll have the pictures. Final ball of the over. Connors around the wicket, bowls, and Travaskis plays it into the ground and up towards a deep mid-on. They'll probably come back for 2 here. Well, that's not too bad, because it means that McIntosh will be on strike at the start of the next over. Durham 165 for 6 now. Travaskis moves on to 6.
Umpires are having a discussion about something here. I wonder what they're talking about. Neil Manand is pointing something out to Ian Blackwell, and he's going on his walkie-talkie by the looks of things. Either they've spotted something with the scoreboard, or they want the lights on. That's grade over again. Scoreboard looks the same. Maybe it was a signal for the lights, which means somebody has to run to the hut in the car park and switch the button on. Anuj Dahl got 2 close in on the offside, 5 close in on the leg side as he bowls to McIntosh, and that's played back up the wicket to him. In fact, there's only one fielder not on the square, and that's long leg. Maybe slips just behind the square fractionally, but so we've got 1, 2, we've got short leg in, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 short mid wickets, 2 in close catching positions on the offside, and a slip. Dahl in again. McIntosh forward once more to this one. Plays it to Godalman. In comes in. That's defended. Apparently they were signalling the start of the final hour, yeah, because we've just gone to 5 o'clock, haven't we? So it's going to be more than the final hour. There's 24 overs left when they signalled the final hour beginning. New ball's 19.5 overs away if they ever need that. Oh look, they're now looking at this ball. McIntosh is on 11. Dial balls, and again he plays it back towards him, and this is taken by Lewis Rees, who's almost standing on the strip at silly mid-on. His foot is just centimetres from the cut strip. $165 for 6. Rees is in there, Madsen's in there on that leg side. It's a short one and it's pulled for 4 past square leg on the boundary. And that was fairly effortless there from McIntosh. Yes, well, Durham hanging on for grim life here at the moment. There's still 23.1 overs to go, and they're 169 for 6, so they do have 4 wickets to play with here. But Derbyshire sensing their first victory on this ground since 2004. They've only won here twice in the past, and they're crowding the batsmen at the moment. We've got 19-year-old Tom McIntosh, who's on his debut. He's on 15. At the other end, Liam Travaskis on 6. 3 wickets going around T, which got Durham into a mess. Maddinson, LBW to Alex Thompson for 30, trying to slog sweep. Then David Benningham ran himself out in 24 in the over before T. Ben Rain caught down the leg side just after T for 4. So this is about survival here, and there are now 23 overs for Durham to try and see their way through for the draw.
Some really exciting news from Derbyshire.
What?
The first 2 beavers have been born. They were released into Willington wetlands a year or more ago. They're the first beavers to be born in Derbyshire since the 13th century.
Wow.
You tell me what a little beaver was, but I couldn't tell you what
They've got a couple in captivity at the Wildfowl and Wetlands Trust in.
No, these are wild.
Yeah,
these are
in
wild.
fact, they might be otters. I've seen a beaver in the wild in central Germany. When the umpires were discussing there, that was the final hour was signalled, but there was still 24 overs left on the board, so it's going to be more than an hour, isn't it?
Well, they don't signal the final hour until 16 overs are left.
Well, they just signalled it because I've had confirmation of what the signal was from the scorers. So,
well, how bizarre is that? How can the final over start when there are 23 overs left? Just double check with them, seriously.
that's what
I
said. Were they signalling for something on the scoreboard or the lights to come on? And it was neither. They were signalling for the final hour, and they still have to bowl 24 overs.
Well,
which is now 23.
That's disappointing. Thompson begins a new over from the Lumley end, and it's defended straight back to him by Liam Travaskis.
You're 9 o'clock at the.
I'm not worried about getting home. I'm just worried about whether they're going to show the ball here. And already Mikey Cohen's picking up the box of balls because he knows it's going to be changed. He's running on. This is even before the umpire said, "Yeah, this is rubbish." So
probably the longest we've seen a ball last this year.
It is, yeah, 61 overs. Yeah. Derbyshire's signing is Quaven Castro. Never heard of him. He's on loan from West Brom. Not somebody with whom I am massively familiar. How strange is that? I was convinced that the last hour starts with 16 overs to go. The players are just sort of stretching out and doing all sorts of nonsense now. He's a Portuguese midfielder. Played against Arsenal in the Carabao Cup last August.
He's Burton's new man, is he?
Started at Sporting Lisbon before moving to England. He's an attacker. Excellent. So Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank has signed another loan player for Burton Albion. Might see him on Saturday if you're lucky, if you're going to the Bath Vase against Birmingham City, or a week on Friday if you're going to watch the game against Sheffield United. They've picked a ball. Billy Godwin doesn't look massively happy with the ball they've picked, so they go back and have a look at the box again. Now they've picked another ball. They've got 2 balls that they're going to discuss here, the umpires. This is pitiful, isn't it? Both umpires are discussing it. Billy Godwin's there with his hands on his hips. Anuj Dala is just peering over Billy Godwin's shoulder. Sam Connors is in the vicinity but not really taking part, and Mikey Cohen's got the box of balls with him, and we'll eventually get a ball to play with, I imagine, at some point. They just dropped it. Oh, they've gone out of shape. They've gone out of shape. They've decided on a ball. Yeah, he said, you see that one there? Pop it in the bin, Mikey, for me, would you? And be a good lad, and off you pop. So Anuj Dal's looking at the ball. It's been given to Hilton Cartwright, who's been looking after the other one for 61 overs. He'd probably want that one in his kit bag, I would have thought, Hilton Cartwright. He's been looking after that ball all day. But he's got a new one to look after now. Nick says, thanks for the entertainment all week, balls and music as usual. He's finished work now, loaded in the dishwasher. His son's finished his drumming, so I can settle to watch the final overs on the big screen. Yeah.
No, we better get them, the guys from next door, to get their drill back out again. Then he's expecting a bit of peace and quiet.
Thompson with the new, or the changed ball. First delivery is pushed by Travaskis into the ground. That won't do it any good. And it's fielded by the bowler. It's the 22 overs and 4 balls to go. These two have been together for 48 deliveries now. Thompson is in and bowls. They need a couple of balls to misbehave, and they're right in the game here, Derbyshire. I mean, they're right in the game anyway, but I think we can wave goodbye to our early handshake, certainly. I'm going 4 balls into the final over, or 3 balls into the final over. Here comes Thompson again, bowls. That one is into the ground and picked up by Hilton Cartwright, who's at silly mid-off. There are 2 men in the covers, or extra cover. There are 2 mid-wickets, there's a short leg, 2 slips and a silly mid-off. In comes Thompson again and bowls, and that's any spin that might be there is smothered by Liam Travaskis, and the ball goes back to Thompson once again.
We've got a bit of praise coming here, Dave, but then it's reined back in again.
Ah, good. I don't like being overly praised.
Well, you're averagely being praised here.
Thompson bowls. It's defended by Travaskis. It's the end of a maiden over. 22 to go. 169 for 6.
Michael emailed a while ago about some certain sound issues today, which I'd noticed this morning, but then they seem to have settled down. He then goes on to say, I have to say this is the perfect commentary combo for me. I'm always conflicted when Durham and Derby are both playing, since you...
Well, Derby are never playing, of course, but it's
Durham
Derbyshire.
And Derbyshire, yeah. Well, you're going to drop even further down the rankings now than after that, I think.
Not bothered.
Since you and Fletch are in my top 4 or 5
Top 4 or 5?
I told you there was praise, but it was reined back in. He said you're quirky and full of unexpected details and a little obsessive. This is a trait of my own autism, he says there.
Top
talk
16.
about trains and planes. Though you seem to have suppressed that in this game. Shame on you.
I've done my best. There haven't been that many planes, to be fair.
No, there haven't really, have there? Depends which way the wind's blowing as to whether they come over here or not. If they're, we've had quite a strong westerly breeze for the last few days, so they normally go up the coast and come in and land into the wind from the east.
Ben Aitchison's back, incidentally, but go on.
Yeah.
Is that it?
He says Dave is rather laconic and cynical, which I have to say fits well with my own pessimistic outlook on life.
Never been disappointed
God,
in my life.
I'd love to be called a pessimist. Aitchison, that was a bit square-armed. Where's that gone? It's gone through the keeper, and is that away for 4 byes?
Yeah.
That was a very bizarre-looking delivery.
Moles, wasn't it?
Somebody once had the gall to accuse me of being a glass-half-full person. I said, I don't even have a glass.
Greg's got an interesting question. Ish. When the box of balls is brought out, how do they know how many overs each ball has been
They've
used
marked
for?
them, I think, don't they?
Yeah, I think they mark them. So you've got to rely on somebody having marked them correctly.
They put a big number on in white paint right across the ball.
They might as well. They might as well. No.
Here's the bowler again now. This is defended on off stump and rolls out into the offside. He says, what I really enjoy is hearing how fellow commentators react to you two. He said, of course, when you're on together like now, Dave will just tell you straight if he's not interested in something.
Yeah.
I has no idea what you're on about.
Yeah, well, there's no point in pretending, is there?
No.
4 days. You can just about get away with it in a 50-over game, but wait till next week.
In comes Aitchison, and that's played out through mid-wicket. Runs here for Durham. They might get a couple. McIntosh on strike. And they get the 2. That went off towards the old scoreboard on our right-hand side. William has been back on. He says the final hour starts at 5 p.m. It's a minimum of 16 overs to bowl, but if more are left in the day's play, they have to complete that.
Right.
They cannot put time into the game. So if they signalled the last hour at 16 overs, they could get more in than the 16
Yes,
hour.
that's what I always thought. That's how I was completely wrong. My apologies.
And he says that can end up then penalising the batting side because they don't want to bowl more than 16 and over, so they tend to bowl slow, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, fair enough.
There you are, that's you, Telt Dave.
Yeah, no, I'm taking it on the chin.
Aitchison bowls and played by McIntosh off towards point. He'll get a single. What's the score? 176 for 6. Only 110 more needed to win, Dave. Starting to get nervy for Derbyshire.
210 to win.
210. Did I not just say that?
You said 110.
110.
110, and I would be slightly nervous because there's still 21 overs to go, but 210, I'm not as nervous as I might be.
There's still a little glimmer of nerve.
No, there's no nerves at all.
No nerves at all.
No, nerves of steel, mate.
Got your poker face on. Aitchison to ball here to Travaskis, who pushes that off into the covers. Bright sunshine now. Still breezy. The Derbyshire flag's disintegrated.
I'm sure it's been taken
It's
away.
probably made of polyester or something. Crimpolene.
There's been a Rob Key interview on TMS. It's always bad news, isn't it? 12 divisions of 3.
Aitchison in again. Off towards mid-wicket. I'll tell you what, if they are going to go with this 3-division thing, then Durham have got to be really worried because they'll end up in Division 3, the way things are this season.
Well, they're talking about 2 equal divisions at the top.
And then
That appears
the
to be
Flotsam and
favourite,
Jetsam.
and then the rest down at the bottom.
And will he ever break that ceiling and get back into the equal divisions at the top?
Well, that means you've got to finish in the top 2 in this division this year. Middlesbrough, Middlesex are doing everything they can not to.
Yes.
I've now lost 2 matches, 2 out of the last 3 I think they've lost. They lost at Chesterfield and now they've lost at Merchant Taylors against Worcestershire. Unsurprisingly, the game between Sussex and Leicestershire's ended in a draw. The most pointless game of 4-day cricket in the history of 4-day cricket has ended in a draw.
Well, wasn't there a Glamorgan game once where it was like 700 plays 700 or something? That was last year, wasn't it?
Connors in from the Lumley end, but it's a short delivery and McIntosh sways out of the way of it. Yeah,
Wasn't that
you're
the
right.
last match of last season?
Could have
Where
been.
was that? Was that at Hove? It was
Oh,
a ridiculous game of cricket.
so the Notts Glamorgan or Glamorgan Notts game is still going on, and that looks like it's heading for a draw.
Might have been at the Oval. It was Glamorgan at the Oval, was it? Durham got their final game at Gloucester over and done with in about 2.5 days.
No point messing around at the end of the season, is there? Here comes Connors in and bowls to McIntosh, who guides this out into the offside. Travaskis looks like he wants a quick single leg once on. Take it. take it. He decides against it. Billy Godalman does the fielding. So yeah, just the 2 second division games still going on now. That other one, it's clearly heading for a draw. Notts need 208. They're only 4 down. You would expect that one to be declared a draw at some point soon. Sorry, need another 97 to beat Yorkshire at Scarborough. Here comes Connors again and balls. That one is guided out into the offside, fielded by Alex Thompson at point, and there is no run. Game at Southport. No, Somerset have, well, they're not quite out of the woods yet, I don't think. They're 206 for 7 in their second innings. They lead by 28. So there is half a chance. And George Scrimshaw could be batting soon. That's not good for England Lions. When George comes in, you can start that team bus. He's actually down to come in at 11, but they're 167 for 5. This delivery is driven nicely by McIntosh. There's a chase on here for Lewis Rees. They've run one. They're going to come back for the second. Travaskis makes it comfortably. And as Dahl collects the ball and rolls it towards the stumps but misses. It's 176. No, 178 for 6 now, I think. No, yeah. 20 now to McIntosh. Travaskis has dropped anchor. He's on 6 from 54 balls. He's not interested in anything. He's at the non-striker's end at the moment. There are 2 balls of this over and 20 more after it to go. McIntosh waits, surrounded by Derbyshire cricketers. Connors is in and bowls, and he guides this out towards the cover boundary for 4 runs. Nice shot. Absolutely. As if there was no pressure on him at all. Beautifully played. He moves to 24. It's 182 for 6. .51 he made in the first innings. 24 not out in the second. He'll be top of the averages by the end of the game.
20 past, Dave.
Yeah. Loads of time. In comes Connors again. That's a full delivery, and McIntosh keeps it out nicely. End of the over. 20 to go. 182 for 6. That's all you need to know, really. McIntosh has got 24. Travaskis has got 6. And Ajmal Shazad walks around clockwise, as does the coach as well at the far end, Mickey Arthur, with the physio Julian.
Over 8's +1, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's too small for me to see. I can't read that.
Yep. Aitchison ready to start bowling, but there's an adjustment being made at the bottom of the pads by Travaskis. He's faced 54 balls for his 6.
Has he? Oh, I would have mentioned that in the previous over if I'd known.
2 slips in, comes in and bowls. That's through to the keeper. But he's still only faced 54 then as well.
Yeah, because he hasn't faced any since then.
Right.
I said he dropped anchor.
I remember that bit.
Yeah. Hasn't faced any since then. Well, he has now.
Are you now saying the scoreboard's changed?
6 from 55.
Wow. Aitchison comes in and bowls. Turned away off the legs to Dahl at mid-wicket, no run. He's got 3 on the leg side of them, and they've put 2 slips in now. They only had 1 slip in for a while, didn't they?
I'm not sure he needs 2 slips, really. He's not ultra rapid, is he?
Maybe they were just a bit lonely and wanted to have a chat. I'm just looking. There's 1 man on the cover boundary, and there's 1 man down at long leg. Everybody else is quite in close again. Aitchison is punched off the back foot by Travaskis, wide of, mid-off, and away to the front of the castle stand for 4. Not a bad shot.
Not a bad shot at all. They need to do something here, Derbyshire. They need to get a wicket. These two have been batting together now for 67 balls.
Griff's looking a bit concerned now.
Well, he will be. He's got to walk all the way back here, collect his gear. It's always going to be tricky on a very, very flat pitch.
Well, basically 2 moments of stupidity before tea gave Derbyshire a bit of hope, didn't it? Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hitchison in again, and this is played nicely off the legs by Travaskis out towards the square leg boundary. It will be cut off by Dahl. 2 runs. What's this partnership worth now then?
38.
38 from 68. Oh, Dave.
What?
The target's now come under 200 for the first time.
Yeah. He could go under 50 and I wouldn't be worried.
3rd ball of this over. No, it's not. It's the 5th ball, isn't it? 5th ball of the over. 19.1 to come now to dot ball. Reaction, of course, to this on BBC Radio Newcastle and Tees tomorrow on Radio Derby. And then I'm having a week off.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm going to turn the computer off. Got nothing on next week. If I'd actually planned my summer properly, I could have gone away somewhere. I just presumed there was a match next week and I just never looked. Aitchison bowling round the wicket this time to Travaskis, and that's the end of the over as he plays it back to... Yeah, normally if there's an international here, it means Durham are away, so it was so far in the distance that I never really looked at it closely, and just in my head the One Day Cup was starting around about now, because that's when it did last year, of course. Who have you got next week? Notts. There or at your place?
Home.
Worcestershire
away the week after.
Yeah, Durham not in action until they play Middlesex here in a fortnight.
But that'd be an easy win. They've gone completely Middlesex. Can't buy a win. Or even a draw. Sam Connors going to continue from the Lumley Inn once everybody's worked out where they're going.
I'll have to bring in the ceremonial foot mat for Kevin Hans so he can get his feet on the table. Oh, leg slip.
2 slips, leg slip, short leg. 2 mid-wickets. Connors bowls, and that one is crashed out into the offside. They're going to go through for a quick single, and it's well judged. That's Mikey Cohen on the pitch again.
Yeah, I was going to say, he was number 8. I hadn't noticed the number 8 before.
Mikey Cohen. I only noticed it was somebody who I didn't expect to be there because he threw it with his left hand. Or arm. He's been on 12th man duties the entire time. He was the only man in the 12-man squad who was left out, of course, so he's been 12th man in the entire game. And now he's in the wrong position. He's going to have to jog rather briskly to get back somewhere where he might be useful, rather than out on the mid-wicket boundary, because it doesn't really matter if anybody's out there. Connors is going to come around the wicket to Liam Travaskis. He's on 12. Bowls to him, and that one is defended. Down into the ground, slightly into the onside, but Billy Godalman is on the onside. That's unusual. I
was just watching Travaskis through the binoculars there, and after he played that, he turned away and went, ooh. Really? And he was signalling that the ball sort of skidded through and kept low on him.
You're putting doubts in your own mind.
Yeah, he's got some strapping on his arm as well, hasn't he? Quite a lot of strapping on his left arm.
On his left arm, which is unusual, isn't it? You might see a protection on his right as a left-hander. Connors bowls to him, and he pushes this into the ground and straight to Mikey Cohen at the straighter of the 2 extra covers. 27 minutes past now, Matt.
Yeah.
You need to start setting gear up here.
Aye, you're right, mate.
I'll be off in a minute.
I'm going to be a bit more patient this time, because otherwise I just listen to a lot of traffic jams in Teesside. I'm always too early for them. It's always busy at Portrack Lane.
Here comes Connors around the wicket, bowls. He's taken on the hook. He's got it down. Well, he's got it over the leg slip and down before it reached Petman.
No ball or knee? Is the knee about to be tapped or what?
It's either a no ball or 2 left. No, he's saying it's all right. I don't know. I'll have to wait and see what comes up on the scoreboard.
I think he was signalling a no ball.
Either that or 2 and 2. Yep, no ball is signalled, indeed.
He put his arm out, and I was wondering, is he going? I don't think you can tap his knee here because it was too high for a leg bye.
Because they put the hand out and do 2 left, don't they, as well, which is always a bit confusing.
Do you think they should do 2 left, sort of just down near their ankle?
Yeah. Or just count to 6. Connor's over the wicket to McIntosh, who defends that one straight to the very straight, short mid-on, who is Alex Thompson, and there's no run. Now that Griff's found his seat in front of the pavilion, he's not getting up for anybody. Just waiting for the ball to get back to the bowler here. And they can take as long as they want, really. I wonder if he's going to bang one in because, or it's going to be a bluff. Because Anish Dahl's gone out to square to mid-wicket now. Not quite square leg, he's more mid-wicket. No, he's going back to square leg. No, he's a mid-wicket. He's a long way out there. If he takes this on and gets caught out there, he wants shooting. Don't care how old he is. Connors bowls to McIntosh. It is a short delivery. He ducks out of the way of it. That's exactly what he should have done there. That's excellent work from the young man.
Young man. Oh, India 4 for 1. The wheels are off.
Wow. An absolute minefield of a pitch at Lord's, obviously.
Yeah. Somebody was talking about it being the home of cricket or something like that.
Apparently W.G. Grace played there at some point in the past because there's a couple of pictures of him around the place.
Is there?
Right. Connor's around the wicket, bowls, and he doesn't take that one on either. He only just gets his head out of the way, though.
Are they Polaroids?
And no, the Grace bar and the Grace this. He's got some gates and all sorts. 192 for 6 at the end of the over. There are 18 overs to go. And Derbyshire need 4 wickets. And Durham need to survive.
It was the 14th of July 2019 when England won the World Cup. I asked that question this morning. Just seen a picture popping up on my timeline. Right, suppose I better dial into teas. Aitchison then right arm round from our end of the ground, the Finkel end. Ball played short on the leg side. Aitchison in, this is played out through the leg side and cut off by Dahl at mid-wicket. So we've got 2 slips in place for Aitchison's bowling at the moment. We've got the short leg still under the helmet. We've got mid-on and mid-off really close in. And we've got a short mid-wicket as well. Short extra cover too. Man on the boundary on the cover side and long legs there as well. Ball is played down into the ground and bumps out and loops away towards Godalman at mid-off. 17 overs and 3 balls to see out for Durham. 192 for 6. That's bowled on off stump, an attempted Yorker there, jabbed down by Travaskis, played out to Godalman once more at mid-off. $192 for 6 then. Aitchison's wants a field altering. He's now putting Dahl from short mid-wicket out towards deep square leg. He's gone out to deep square leg. Very brief appeal there, which ended before it began, really, from the bowler in the slip cordon. It was an inside edge from Travaskis onto his pad. He's faced 68 balls for 13 runs, but partnership's now 42. Bowler in again. It's a short one, it's wide, and it's left alone. 17 overs to survive now from a Durham point of view. 194 to win a maiden there from Aitchison. The last 3 wickets for Durham in the first innings brought them 154 runs, which was more than the first 7 had brought them, because they were 142 for 7 and 141 behind when Travaskis was out for 30 in that one. Helmets galore out there at the minute. Thompson coming back into the attack, is he? Got a short leg. Keeper's put a helmet on. He's going to stand up to the stumps. See some more off spin from him. They're going to crowd the bat again here now. Going to have a silly point as well. Got 1, 2, 3 catching very close. 4 catching very close in on the leg side, including short leg. There's just 3 fielders in a line just beyond short leg. 4 short mid wickets now. Dahl's gone in there as well. That's it. Everybody is on the square at the moment. I think Madson's going to drop back to first slip. McIntosh is on strike, and they're bringing another helmet out now. Is Lewis Rees going to go under the helmet here? He's called for one. Mikey Combe brings it out on 12th man duties. So Rees is going to go in as a leg slip, I think, here. So you've got 5 really close around the bat, plus 3 more on the leg side. One of them's dropping out towards mid-wicket now. Thompson then, right arm over off spin to McIntosh. First ball played through the legs of Silly Point and out to Aitchison in the short extra cover area. No run. Thompson in again. McIntosh forward to this one, plays it back to the bowler. Plays it back to. Third ball of the over. Thompson, Lumley end. McIntosh cuts. There's nobody out there, so he'll get 2 runs. He's not going to go for 4, but he'll get 2. He moves on to 27. Durham 194 for 6. 16 and a half overs to go. Thompson again comes in and bowls. McIntosh drives it straight into the shin of Silly Point, and that's hurt. I think that's Petman who's gone down there. He picks himself up. Doesn't look to me like he has shin pads on. Thudded in quite hard. 2 balls left of the over. McIntosh taps this one to Dahl at short mid-wicket. This is a busy scene, this one, but these 2 batsmen have stood firm so far. 44 runs they've put on from 88 balls. Last ball of the over, and that is defended. It bobbles back to the bowler. So that's 16 overs to go now. That's roughly about an hour's play for Durham. I suppose if there were to be handshakes, it could be if Durham, for instance, was still only 6 down with 3 balls to go. Update now for tees. Well, about an hour ago I wondered if the youngsters might dig Durham out of the spot of bother they'd needlessly got themselves in around about tea when Maddinson and Beddingham gave their wickets away. Maddinson slog sweeping the first ball he'd received of an over from the spinner Alex Thompson and was out for 30 lbw, and then Beddingham running himself out a ball before tea. So there were 144 for 5 then. They lost Ben Rain just after the break for 4, caught down the leg side of Sam Connors. So that brought together Liam Travaskis and Tom McIntosh. McIntosh, the 19-year-old wicketkeeper batsman on debut, made 51 in the first innings and has batted nicely here. They're crowding the bat, Derbyshire. They're trying all kinds of tactics, got lots of fielders close in for catching opportunities, but he's made 27 from 45 balls. Liam Travaskis 14 from 70, and Durham at the moment have 15.5 overs to bat out to save this one as a draw.
Next delivery from Ben Aitchison was left alone outside the off stump by McIntosh to go through to the keeper. He's batted really well. Single taken off the first ball of the over by Travaskis, who moved on to 14. McIntosh can be very pleased with his first-class debut. He waits now. A couple of slips, couple of mid-wickets, an extra cover. He pushes this one out to the extra cover, who is Leas Deploy. Moves to his left in the fielding pads. That last over, bowled by Alex Thompson. Every single one of the Derbyshire fielders was within about 20 yards of the batsman. Absolutely remarkable. Just whether or not they can sneak one out and hope that one brings 2 and 3. That's a short delivery, but it's down the leg side, and McIntosh just ducks underneath it. Allows it to go over his back through to Brooke Guest, the keeper. Little disappointing, that delivery. Still haven't shaken hands at Cardiff. Another short delivery, another duck underneath it by McIntosh. It's like a waste of effort, really. Not entirely sure why they're playing on there. Notts need 204 to win now from 251 for 4, so Glamorgan needs 6 wickets, I suppose. While there's life, there's hope, but 4 wickets taken all day. In goes Aitchison and bowls. That one's outside the off stump and left alone by McIntosh. He hasn't had to play any of the last 3 deliveries, and it's the end of the over. Just the 1 run from it, 195 for 6. We now have 15 overs to go as Derbyshire look for the 4 wickets they require for victory. These two, well, they've batted really nicely so far, and they've taken up 95 deliveries between them for the 45 runs that they put on. Travaskis 14 off 70, McIntosh 27 off 50. And you just wonder whether it might be worth giving one of the occasional spinners a go. Strange things happen when occasional spinners come on. At the moment, Billy Godleman's talking to Alex Thompson, and most of the fielders are already in place. There's the leg slip Lewis Rees with his helmet on. There's the third slip Hilton Cartwright with his helmet on. There's the short leg Leas Deploy with his helmet on, and the wicketkeeper's got his on as well.
What do you call it? A collective, a forest of helmets.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Is Darby being sent for one as well? Where's he going? He's got a point.
And Cartwright's kneeling down.
Thompson round the wicket, right arm round to Travaskis. Bernard says, what's the earliest Derbyshire can concede the draw? I would say the last over.
Yes,
with about 2 balls left or something, if there's 3 wickets.
They won't concede now. There's no point, is there?
This is pushed off towards short extra cover. Round the wicket comes the bowler. Oh, that got up a little bit on Travaskis, but he dealt with it. Just a little bit of extra bounce on that one there. So third slip's kneeling down here. Got a leg slip, a short leg. So that's Lewis Rees kneeling down. He's almost like
on his knees.
I'm just thinking he's about to sweep the floor with a. You could call that the dustpan and brush fielding position. Dustpan and brush slip. Do you know what one of those is? A dustpan and brush.
Yeah, I've got one of them.
Have you? In comes the bowler again. It's Travaskis forward to this.
You see it a lot, don't you? The slips kneeling down.
I can't remember the last time I saw that.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Oh, leg slips come out and it's going into silly point.
He's going to kneel down.
So Travaskis goes and spits where he was.
Yeah.
Nice.
Voodoo.
Thompson in again now. Travaskis right on top of that one. The ball runs back to the other end. Another over gone.
His bowling is slightly too full here, Alex Thompson, for me.
Yeah. 14 overs to go for Durham to get the draw. Good famous brave draw.
So it'll be Petman's back. Or he will be in a minute. He's just checking his run up. He seemed happy with it. Hasn't got a wicket in the second innings, I don't think. No, he hasn't. Still can't quite work out why they're still there.
16 for 1 India. It was Reece Topley who got the wicket caught behind.
They've shaken hands
Rohit Sharma.
at Cardiff.
Oh, his LBW he was. For none.
Good old Reece.
Ball angled across him, just clipped his pads on the way through.
His dad will be pleased.
Here's Petman and back into the attack.
Is he?
That's him there.
If only I'd said it 30 seconds ago, people wouldn't have known otherwise, would they?
And of course not.
I was just concentrating on the second division, which is where we are, really.
Yeah.
Whole line of fielders on the leg side. Almost 3 mid-wickets now. 2 extra covers. Partridge in the pear tree. Petman sets off then, bowling to Tom McIntosh. He's in and bowls, and that one is left alone on length and taken by Brooke Guest, who's standing up to Petman, which means Derbyshire haven't got a fast bowler that Brooke Guest doesn't feel comfortable standing up to, which is never a good thing, I don't think. Where's George Scrimshaw when you need him? Because he doesn't play much red ball cricket. He hasn't played any this season. Next delivery from Petman is defended by McIntosh out into the offside. Leas Deploy does the fielding.
There's a Swift flying around out there.
Daniel Warwick's easily pleased. Says it's been a very enjoyable 4 days.
Who said that?
Daniel Warwick. I suppose Mark Beck might have half a point. He's Reece kneeling because he's got a knee injury. Well, he had an operation on his knee, but I think he's just kneeling because of the position he was in. Petman bowls. It's defended out into the offside by McIntosh.
Would that not hurt more?
Don't know. He's standing up now without much pain. No, it's just something that slips that square, because he's quite square at third slip to a spinner. It happens a lot in international cricket, doesn't it? Teams are trying to force a victory. They do just about anything. 13 and a half overs to go. In goes Petman. Bowls. That one is dabbed backward of square on the offside. They're going to go through for a single. Anuj Dal will do the fielding. 196 for 6.
It's a 46 run partnership this now, I think.
Absolutely. 105 balls. That's the key. So he batted really well in the first innings, did McIntosh, and he's batting well in the second. 4 runs scored in the last 5 overs, which tells you all you need to know about what's happening here. These two batsmen fighting for their lives. Petman's going to come around the wicket to the left-handed Travaskis. He's in and bowls to him, and that one is into the ground and back to the bowler. Alex Thompson is on the boundary, but he's talking to, it's like a little enlarged show out there, Mikey Cohen. Billy Godwin's shouting something at Thompson, but I think Thompson knows exactly what Godwin wants. That's the ball back. He's on his way in again. A couple of slips as well as those fielders close in front of the bat, and that one is defended straight to Lewis Rees, and it's the end of the over. 1 run from it. 196 for 6, 13 overs to go. Said it was that 4 overs that they're going to have with the new ball is not quite going to be enough. They possibly could have declared a bit earlier, but then again, at one stage Durham were on course, weren't they, at 68 without loss before lunch, or just after lunch rather.
Seems a long time ago since Lees was bowled by Dahl for 41.
It does.
He's played around a length ball, missed it and hit his off stump. That many people close in now with helmets on. One of them will be standing between the batsman's legs before long.
Kneeling.
Or kneeling, yeah.
Kneeling. We'll have to get through him.
5 around the bat. And then 2 more close in on the leg side. So we've got first slip is Wayne Madsen. He's not got a helmet on. Rees is at leg slip. He has. Deploys at short leg. He has. Silly point I think is Petman, is it?
No. Cartwright, I think.
Is it? Cartwright. 2 balls defended here from McIntosh off Thompson. 1 for 8 from 11.2 overs, 6 maidens for Thompson. McIntosh 28 from 56 balls. Meets this on the length on off stump. Yeah, as Dave said in the previous over, he's pitching them up too much, isn't he? He needs to
spin. Yeah.
He needs to get it a little bit shorter if he's to tease and
got to offer them something, hasn't he?
Comes in again here. That's well outside off stump. The batsman steps right across and lets it go into the keeper's gloves. It was about 5th or 6th stump, that one. 2 more balls in this over to see through, and then it's 12 to go. Thompson bowls. Played into the ground and off to short leg by McIntosh. Ball quickly back to the keeper. Bails off. McIntosh was firmly in his crease. Petman's fielding at mid-wicket, isn't he? That's where he is. In comes the bowler again for the final time this over. That's easily dealt with. Just played away on the leg side. Short. It's another maiden. And that means there are 11 overs to go, and I'll be back in a sec. When's your next bully? Oh no, I don't know when mine is.
Well, it's only 10 to.
Yeah,
you've got time, haven't you? You've got time. And if not, Radio Newcastle listeners will hear me talking nonsense. There are 12 overs to go, not 11, but who cares? What's an over between friends? Anuj Dahl is just having something administered by the physio. Mickey Arthur walking round, hands in his tracksuit top pocket. That's more of a hoodie really, although this one doesn't go to his knees like some people wear them. You know who you are. Here is Toby Petman in around the wicket, arm bowls. That's left alone outside the off stump by Travaskis. Goes through to Brooke Guest. Travaskis held the pose a while, and it was almost as if Guest was waiting for him to topple over, which he never ever looked like doing at any stage. Two slips, gully, 2 extra covers, 3 mid-wickets. Petman is in and bowls, and it's defended. It's a no ball from Toby Petman. 198 for 6, the score moves on to. Petman's on his way in once again. Bowling from the Finkel end around the wicket, bowls left alone by Travaskis to go through to the keeper. cricket in the 6 o'clock bulletin, which is good news, I think. 11 overs and 4 balls. 70 deliveries for Derbyshire to get 4 wickets. Petman is in and bowls, and it's defended out into the offside by Travaskis. These two are batted really, really nicely. The frustrating Derbyshire. 116 balls they've faced now. As I said before, Glamorgan against Nottinghamshire has finished in a draw. So has Leicestershire Sussex. So this is the only game still going in the second division. Petman still only halfway through the over he started when Martin left about 3 hours ago. He's in around the wicket and bowls way wide of the off stump. Ball goes through to the keeper. You've missed nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nottinghamshire just extended the lead a little bit, I think, at the top of the table. They're on 159 points after the draw. They want something here. Not sure what they want, but they're gesturing to the ground staff. They're not moving. Morgan up to third, a point behind Middlesex. As Petman is in and bowls, and that one is pushed out into the offside. Billy Cotton, as though his life depended on it, dives across to his right to stop the ball from going anywhere. And again, they clearly want something.
When rain was out, did you write down how many overs were left?
No.
Oh, I'm not going to be able to do this math, am I?
Well, it was 118 balls ago. Just divide that by 6.
Oh, that's a good plan.
19 overs and 4 balls, I think. It's 119 now, so it'll be 120 at the end of the over, or after this next ball. That's 20 overs, isn't it? That's outside the off stump, allowed to go through, and they've now batted 20 overs, these two.
So there were 31 overs to go.
120 deliveries.
Right.
Put on 48. McIntosh has 28. Travaskis has 14, and there are 11 overs to go. So Middlesex on 138, Glamorgan 137, then Worcestershire on 127. Derbyshire currently on 111 will get a minimum of 13 points out of this game. So they'll go up to 124. Durham will move into 3 figures. Mickey Arthur's just had a little look up towards the commentary box. Signalled with 4 fingers. All on the same hand, fortunately, which meant I knew what he was talking about. And down at the bottom, Sussex on 93 and Leicestershire with 5 defeats and 4 draws from their 9 games have got 66 points.
198 for 6 then. So new ball can be taken in 7 overs.
New over from Thompson. Oh,
Sorry,
carry on. Whoever you're writing to.
Just tweeting.
Tweeting now. Excellent. I'm so glad Twitter's back. That one was pushed into the leg side. Somebody down upstairs did ask me how you coped with the 45-minute Twitter silence, but I said you were all right. You were shaking a bit, but not much. This one is turned into the offside
I'm
by
going to go and see my counsellor later on.
McIntosh.
Just a half-hour session. Well, it didn't really matter much, did it? Because it happened during the lunch interval, so we were having our chili.
Zoom wasn't down, fortunately. Oh, it did throw me. That one is defended by McIntosh up towards Sam Connors, who's at mid-on, very straight. Lewis Rees warming up. Well, loosening off, really, as much as anything. Next delivery is wide of the off stump again and left alone by McIntosh. He needs one to jag back alarmingly if he's going to get any joy out there. Gary's been back with his predictions. Not sure about this one. Next delivery is pushed out into the offside, into the ground, and not collected by Hilton Cartwright. Big call, he says. Durham all out, 211. Can't see it myself. This is a flat pitch. got to do well to get yourself out. 4 batsmen to get themselves out between now and the end. This next delivery is defended by McIntosh, out into the offside this time, and it's fielded by Hilton Cartwright. We now have 10 overs to go, 60 balls in which Derbyshire need to take 4 wickets. It's a maiden over for Thompson for what it's worth. He's now bowled 13 overs, 8 maidens, 1 for 8, 198 for 6 Durham. Now I'm going to go for a minute.
Are you? Oh, yes, hello. You've just been heard on Radio Newcastle again, Dave. We didn't get Q on that occasion. Right, 198 for 6. Certainly didn't hear any Q on that occasion. Ten overs to go then, and it's Petman from the Finkel end, right arm round, bowling to Travaskis, who pushes the ball out into the covers for 1. Suddenly they're not crowding the bat anymore, they've got everybody out now. Just one fielder close in at short mid wicket in Duploy. Now they're bringing everybody in for McIntosh, are they? McIntosh made 51 in the first innings, taking a few catches as well. Three catches in this innings, in the second innings, and two in the first innings, replacing Ned Eckersley as Durham's wicketkeeper for this one. Well, if every delivery is going to take this long, this is ridiculous, this. Right, McIntosh is ready. They've brought everybody in close again now. 4 on the leg side, including a short leg. Silly mid on. Silly mid off. That's played 2. Silly mid on. Got the mid off as well as the silly mid off. 2 slips. Dahl is at point. Looks like Aitchison's doing some stretching exercises and warming himself up again. 9.4 overs to go. Petman in, edged, oh and gone, and that's the end of McIntosh, caught in the slips, and now Durham have to try and survive 9.3 overs at 199 for 7. He's out for 28, and he faced 67 balls. Suddenly things look different now. Caught at first slip. And the partnership ends at 49. Aitchison with the catch just after he'd been warming up. Well, the partnership was 129 balls. Stanley McAlinden is the new batsman. Petman to McAlinden, 4 on the leg side. There's 2 slips, and they're appealing for a stumping down the leg side. It was a leg stump Yorker. Keeper took it, had the bails up. I don't really think he moved out of his crease at all there. If anything, he moved sort of backwards and sideways.
So you're telling me I was on Reading Newcastle? Sorry, I didn't realise I had.
They didn't give us any cue. I had it turned up, and all I heard was, "Oh, sorry, we don't seem to be able to hear from Martin there, but we got the message with the score as you rounded up the score at the end of the over." Petman in again. That's left alone, tight outside the line-up. But I had the cue turned up that time and never heard a thing. So
I didn't have the cue. I don't turn the cue up, obviously, but bizarre. Well. 9 overs to go after this delivery. 3 wickets required. Fraying nerves everywhere. I was in the 6 o'clock bulletin, which I never am, but I just looked in the running order and spotted me there.
Petman in again. Yorker length ball played away nicely by McAlinden. So there's now 9 overs to go.
Yeah, whatever 9 sixes are, that's how many balls we've got left.
54?
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It's not very many, is it? I prefer 9 overs, I think.
Looks like it's raining just across to slightly to the northwest of us. There's a big cloud just drifting in here, and it is raining, certainly up towards Birtley. And see it coming off the clouds.
Yeah, won't save you now.
Oh, you don't want that.
Won't save you now. Well, it would be disappointing, certainly, if they were to be denied by the rain. Thank you, Rhiannon. It is a great finish to this game. Lots of tension. Alex Thompson's going to continue from the Lumley end. 13 overs, 8 maidens, 1 for 8. Men crowding round the bat. Travaskis on strike, defends, back to the bowler. First delivery. There's a short leg and a mid wicket. Everybody else is on the offside. 3 slips and a short, a silly mid off. This ball is defended once again by Travaskis. They will get a new ball in 4 overs time, bizarrely, and they will clearly take it. Thompson is in again. Bowls. That's a ball on leg stump again. He's just bowling a bit too full for me. There's no problem with runs. They're not going to get 187 in 8.5 overs with three wickets in hand. But they might just chip one in the air if he gives it a bit of air himself. This one is turned into the leg side. Oohs and ahs from the fielders, but felt like the middle of the bat from here. I've had no instructions from Chris Coles in his final sports scene at 6. I assume he's doing it. I can't hear the cue anymore because I'm on different headphones, just in case anybody was wondering why I was asking the question out loud. Here comes Thompson again, bowls, and that one is driven very pleasantly by Travaskis out towards Anuj Dal, who's at extra cover. But the Godalming points. He wants the 3rd slip to go in. He wants him in a square, backward square leg. There's a short leg, and now he's got a backward square leg. What, is he expecting him to sweep one for a boundary or sweep one for runs? What he's done is he's missed it, and it's gone through to the keeper who can't hold on to it. A puff of dust comes up as the bat hits the pitch, and it's the end of the over. And who's going to bowl the next over? It's going to be Toby Petman to continue. There's a 9th maiden for Alex Thompson. 14 overs, 9 maidens, 1 for 8. The important bit is 8 overs to go. Round about 42 deliveries. Get the lights on. Which I'd keep them off because the batsman won't be able to see the ball, will they? Do you want me to carry on? I'm happy to. Okay, you're busy.
No, I'm not busy at all. This is bowled by Petman and defended. Just seeing an email saying they were coming to me at 2 minutes to 6, which they did, but I never heard it until after they come to me. So
Probably best.
That cloud's drifting this way, Dave, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Not when it in the pouring rain like they did when they beat Yorkshire at Chesterfield in the T20.
Petman again to McAlinden down the leg side. Bales are off once more from the keeper. Durham lost in the pouring rain here to Northants in 2017, and Northants were nearing victory but lost a few wickets. Then they were about 8 down. It was touch and go, but there was a couple of catches slipped out of the bowlers, the fielders' hands when they would have been taken on dry occasions. A few times when the ball skidded through to the boundary when perhaps it wouldn't have done, and Northants just got over the line. McAlinden plays this short on the leg side.
So if it rains, Durham might win because it favours the backside. Is that what you're saying?
It just became very difficult to field because it was so wet, and it was heavy rain as well. If it had been in the middle of the match, they just would have come off. But credit to the umpires, whoever they were at the time, they kept them out there to try and see if one team could win or the other. But backfired on Durham on that occasion. I think it was 8 matches before they... It might have been 10 matches before they won in 2017 following relegation. This is defended on a length by McAlinden. And they eventually beat Glamorgan here.
Might be on page 12.
Petman turns to his mark, takes a breath and then starts his run up. Bowling to McAlinden. That's gone into the keeper's gloves down the leg side. That's a good lead from McAlinden. They managed to get his arms and his elbows out the road. Of course, his elbows are attached to his arms. That's certainly a key part of his armage. Thought the ball might strike his elbow there.
As a batsman, it doesn't really matter if the ball hits your elbow
No,
too much.
just hurts. 7th match before
Excellent,
they won in
thank you. I'm glad we got there.
2017.
Phew.
Got a leg slip in, 2 slips, short leg, and that's played away past everybody upfield by McAlinden for Travaskis is coming back for 2, good running.
Well, it was because he wanted to be on strike for the start of the next over.
200 runs, 77 overs, 200 for 7, is it?
Yeah.
201 for 7.
They wanted, they'd have been happy to have given McAlinden a single there, I'm sure, but as it turned out, they got back for the second comfortably enough. Umpires have conferred about something. Not entirely sure what it might be. Alex Thompson's already removed his cap, so he's keen to bowl the next over, as you might expect. 7 to go. Durham 201 for 7.
New ball due in 3 overs. It's raining.
Typical of the northeast.
I would like to point out that the match, which was badly affected by the weather here in 2020, which ended in a draw, was a Derbyshire home game.
Oh yeah, that one is pushed out into the offside. Not interested in a single because Travaskis is going to try to take as many of these deliveries as he possibly can.
It's not raining.
What is it? Is it raining or is it not?
It looked like it was to the naked eye, but I've looked at the site, to the blackness of the scoreboard through the binoculars, and it isn't. But I think it will be any second. That cloud is right on top of us now.
Yeah, we'll be all right. It's going that way. It's going some way anyway. Thompson around the wicket, balls to Travaskis, who leaves this one alone, almost topples over. Manages to keep his back foot over the crease. Good effort by the batsman that.
I wonder if they are going to put the floodlights on.
All the money that they get from the international will be wasted in the final 10 minutes of this first-class match. Thompson in again, balls, and that was pushed into the offside, into the onside rather, by Travaskis, fielded by Leas de Ploy.
Tim says this has been just one of many great games this week. Long live the county championship, and tar to you both.
next delivery is resulting in an appeal that was fairly half-hearted, I think it's fair to say.
I think it hit him in the midriff.
Yeah. Mark says, I assume your guess of about 42 deliveries in 8 overs was just to emphasise the need not to be a mathematician as a commentator. Whatever happens in the remaining deliveries, thanks for doing the day job so well. Thank you, Mark.
Oh, India 38 for 4.
Thompson around the wicket, balls to Travaskis, who gets very much a leading edge there into the offside. Ball goes out to Anuj Dal.
William says he thinks that if it rained now, that would be the end of the game because the final hour has been completed in terms of minutes.
He's always been so cheerful.
He's the scorer.
I know he is. That one's defended by... It's not raining. Defended by Travaskis. It's another maiden over for Thompson, incidentally. 15 overs, 10 maidens, 1 for 8 now. It really doesn't matter. Maidens are not what's required here. Wickets are required, and if I was Derbyshire, I'd be dashing about a bit more because it is dark. And dark usually means one thing. Well, it means 2 things, really. Either it's getting late, which it isn't, or it's about to rain. Had a brief shower earlier on when Ben Rain was out. The lights are now on. Well, they're coming on. They should be on by the time we finish.
Petman bowling to McAlinden, and he plays this through mid-wicket for 4. Nice shot. It's going to trundle toward... Oh, is it going to make it? Oh, is it going to get there? Is it going to get there? It's just had enough energy to get over the rope and stop on the other side.
Much to the delight of Lewis Rees, who was giving chase.
The ground staff don't look particularly perturbed by the oncoming, were they?
No, they've not been
sitting on their chairs.
Not been perturbed all day.
No, a lack of perturbation.
Yes, indeed. They are perturbless.
205 for 7, 5.5 overs to survive. That's fended down into the ground nicely by McAlinden. It's gone off towards square leg. Deployed chases it, no run. Travaskis came tippy-toeing round Rees to have a look. Rees is just standing in front of him, decided against it. Kohli's out. BBC Radio Newcastle with you, BBC Radio Derby, the dying embers of this game. Petman in, bowls. McAlinden stands firm, plays it short on the offside to Hilton Cartwright, no run.
Quite bright away to the west.
Yeah.
Not bright here.
No. Maybe the Merc's just going to miss us and drift round the top of Chesley Street. It's amazing how many times you see the weather heading this way and it just drifts around to the north of us. Petman to McAlinden, tries the Yorker length ball, that's away for 4, flicked off the legs nicely down past square leg.
Both of the spectators who were still applauded that.
Tell you what, Dave, the target for victory is now only another 177.
I know, in 5 overs and 2 balls. Yeah, so I'm completely clueless now as to what's happening with me in sports scene at 6, if indeed anything is happening. So a message would be handy.
2 balls of this over, then there's 1 over to go, and then the new ball. Petman to McAlinden. Oh, that's shot up. It's come off the fingertips of the keeper. Does that hit something on the way up? How did that get so high?
Don't know. Unusual though.
McAlinden tried to leave it and suddenly it was way in the air. Presume it's just hit the fingertips of Brooke Guest perhaps. Floodlights are bright now.
That's good.
Last ball of this over. Defended. 5 overs to go. Dun dun dun. Durham might get away with it if it isn't for those pesky kids.
Yeah. Umpires conferring about something here. Hands in pockets, they've got to carry on. These are the best lights in the country, apparently. With the ultimate irony. If it got too dark, Alex Thompson's going to continue from the Lumley end. Ben Aitchison windmilling his arms around at second slip. Takes a step to his right. And in comes Thompson, and that one is pushed into the ground by Travaskis, just to the left of Leicester-Ploy, who goes scurrying across to try and pull off a stop. I don't think he could have caught it. Hit the ground pretty quickly. Next delivery from Thompson is pushed out into the offside. This time it's Hilton Cartwright. It was Hilton Cartwright the last time as well, who does the fielding. This one squirts in between. How on earth it gets through there, I've no idea, because there are so many fielders there in the slipcord, but it managed to go along the floor and through the slipcord, and Billy Godwin now finds himself at backward point. No, he doesn't, that's Petman. Billy Godwin's at mid-off, because he's always at mid-off. But he isn't. He hasn't always been at mid-off in this particular innings. Here comes Thompson again around the wicket. Bowls outside the off-stump, left alone. Gave that one a chance to turn, but it was too wide and was always going to turn away from the left-hander. Because that's how off-spinners operate. 209 for 7. 4 overs and 2 balls to go. 4 overs and a ball to go. Now that one turned, but again landed too wide of off stump initially and turned away. Thompson got his wicket in his second over. He's now coming to the end of his 16th. 1 for 8 his figures. And Thompson is in. That one is defended by Travaskis out into the onside. I think it's time to move away possibly from spin. How many? It's gone off the board. 4 overs to go, so the new ball's available, isn't it?
Yeah. Are they going to take it?
I think they might.
Because what they can do is they can use this new ball and then put it in the spares box, because it'll come in handy for the early overs of the next match. New ball taken at 209 for 7.
New ball taken at 7 wickets down.
Yeah. 80 overs gone.
It's going to be Ben Aitchison who's going to get first use of the new ball. I wonder if he's going to give it to Sam Connors or give it to Petman up the other end. We'll wait and see. 4 overs to go. We're going to have 3 slips in place, that is for sure.
Aitchison then had a little spell earlier on this afternoon, well, in this evening session, didn't he? But oh, and still not in. No, I don't want to buy that. Here he comes. Oh, that looked like it stayed a bit low, but it was kept away from off stump by McAlinden. In fact, it was a fairly run-of-the-mill delivery, to be honest with you. I think a bit of kidology going on in the slip cordon there.
He took 2 wickets in the first innings, but hasn't taken any in the second, so now would be a good time to start. Ben Aitchison.
Driven out through the covers by McAlinden. It was a half volley well outside of off stump, and he's going to get 2 runs here. Travaskis wasn't so sure about coming back for the second, but McAlinden called him through. That game against Kent here, well, twice that year, it was Mitch Claydon who was part of the last pair at the crease when Durham couldn't get Kent out in Canterbury or here. Comes in again and bowls. It's left by McAlinden, and I think in Canterbury the Kent batted for about 7 overs with the last pair at the crease. Here it was about 12.
Happens, doesn't it? It happens.
Northants did it to Durham at the start of the 2014 season. Remember, they had the last pair out in the middle for ages and they couldn't get the win. Defended once again by McAlinden around about off stump. 2 balls left. It is raining. There's now rain on my window.
Yeah, you're right.
Tears of my pillow. Looks like it could rain quite heavily any second now. It's filled in right in front of us now. And that's guided off down to vacant third man. Anush Dal will chase it up towards the Health Club boundary. 2 more jogged runs for Durham. In fact, McAlinden just walks the end of the second run there. 1 ball left of this over.
19 balls to go.
McAlinden on strike. Flicks that one away for 4 down towards long leg. That's a nice shot actually. It's gone towards the far end of the Castle stand. In fact, the new ball might have disappeared underneath the stand. Oh, there's a board at the front. That's good luck, because at certain parts of that stand the boards aren't there. 3 overs to go.
18 deliveries, and Sam Connors is going to bowl 2 of the remaining 3 overs you would expect. Already picked up a couple of wickets. He got rid of Scott Borthwick, bowled him, and got rid of Ben Rain, caught down the leg side by Brooke Guest after tea in the rain. Brightening up now, it's the beautiful part of the evening. 18 deliveries to go. Sam Connors, 3 slips in place and a leg slip into bowl to Liam Travaskis, who defends the first of those 18 deliveries up towards Ben Aitchison at mid-on. Mickey Arthur remains down on the boundary to our left-hand side alongside Chris the analyst. Sure everybody else is, and that might be Ajmal Shahzad at the bottom of the steps. Connors is in and bowls, and that's a full-length delivery driven back towards him by Liam Travaskis. 107 deliveries he's faced now. Terrific effort from him. McAlinden's basically been scoring with gay abandon. He's got 18 from 21, but Travaskis 15 runs from 106 deliveries. Really good effort. We're going to move Anuj Dal out from point into leg gully. So a leg slip and a leg gully, a short leg, 2 short mid wickets and 3 slips. As Connors is on his way in and bowls. That one's turned towards Dal and drops just short. He's just been put there. It may even have gone in and out, the way the 2 slips have got their hands on their head. Dal is a very, very fine fielder. I think that might have gone in and out, you know.
It's difficult to tell from here, wasn't it? It's, the angle it was coming across him.
Would have been a spectacular catch.
Can't see on the camera.
Just been put there. "15 balls to go." Connors bowls, and that one is pushed up towards Billy Godleman at mid-off. So he was dropped with 16 balls to go, if he was.
2 leg slips in. 3 normal ones, a short leg, 2 short mid-wicketers.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Whole pitch is going to tip up this way to the right now.
Same field as for the last delivery.
Yeah.
Do listen, Martin.
I'm just talking about how the whole field looks like it's balanced towards the right-hand side corner this time now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's a car pulled in at the far end, and it's put the batsman off. In fact, there's lots of cars pulling in at the far end. Must be a gym class due, Dave. Are you going to be late for it?
No, because I'm not going. I don't do gym classes.
Really?
Yeah. What are you talking about?
I don't know.
Here's Connors then. 2 balls of this over and 2 overs to go after this one. It's turned into the leg side for 4 runs by Travaskis. Out towards the backward square leg boundary, all the way along the floor.
Oh, it's hit the wall. That'll dent the ball. Need another new ball.
Durham move up to 221 for 7. Travaskis on to 19. We have 13 balls to go. They're starting now, the Derbyshire fielders, to look as though they know that they're not going to win this game, which is a little bit disappointing for them, obviously. Just 4 overs with the new ball. It was a fine balancing act, really. They had to bat on this morning, otherwise Durham would have really fancied their chances. Final ball of the Connors over. He's in and bowls to Travaskis. He defends it straight back to him, so that means that McAlinden will be on strike, even though they probably want to bowl at him. He's got 18 from 21. 2-2-1 for 7 at the end of the over. Travaskis has 19. We've got 12 deliveries to go. And presumably, yeah, he is going to bowl the penultimate over of the match. Is Ben Aitchison. I'll be hoping for a slightly better over than the previous one he bowled. He conceded 8, but he wasn't hugely threatening with his new shorter run-up. 9 balls, I think, until we can shake hands.
If there's no wicket.
Well,
Here's
obviously.
Here's the first of them to point. Guiding along the floor.
Who's bowled it? Who's he bowling to?
McAlinden
Okay.
has played it to Dahl off Aitchison.
Just thought you might want to paint the picture.
I'm painting the picture.
Well, you're not. You're tweeting.
Very grey skies around us at the moment. As Aitchison comes in again, bowls, and McAlinden plays that out to Godalman. Short extra cover. Ten balls.
The game is up.
Three slips of gully, a leg slip, a short leg. This is played out to point.
You know what'll happen? They'll get a wicket with 3 balls to go, won't they? So they'll say, no, we'll carry on.
There's a farmer back with his next load of hay. Three balls left of this over. Dahl's gone from gully to leg gully. Points coming quite close. Short leg slip, 3 slips. Aitchison bowls. That's gone down the leg side. A waste of a delivery, really. Keeper takes it.
Yeah, that wasn't a great delivery from Ben Aitchison.
If Durham survive this, then there'll be an amazing noise from about the 10 people left in the crowd. There's still a few in, actually, Dave, if you look around. There's quite a lot of people haven't moved for a long time. Aitchison in, McAlinden forward to that one, nearly collapses into the shot. I thought for a minute that was going to sneak through his defences there. It's come off the inside edge and gone out along the floor to short mid-wicket. So this will be the last ball of this innings from Aitchison.
He could really do with taking a wicket with this delivery, couldn't he? Just to set up Sam Connors for the last over, but
21.5 overs.
what?
He's bowled.
All right.
Here's his last one, and that's wide, and that's left alone. So Durham have, in theory, 6 balls to survive.
Yeah, they'll only have to survive 3 once they get down. Well, 4 probably, but a maiden over from Ben Aitchison, but he'll be a little disappointed, I think, in the over. It is his first game of the season, of course, and he will only get better from this point, you would expect. The honour, if indeed it is an honour, of bowling the final over of this match. We've gone right to the bitter end. As I suggested to somebody 3 days ago we might.
Who? To me?
No, not you.
I was going to say, because yesterday you were talking about you wished you'd brought your clothes with you.
Yeah, no, I thought it'd be
Oh,
over
look at
yesterday.
that cloud there that suddenly appeared out of nowhere.
It's not going to get here, is it?
Oh, not.
Here goes Sam Connors then. 6 deliveries remaining. He bowls to Travaskis, who plays at that one and misses, and it goes through to the keeper, and that might be the last half chance for Derbyshire. Wasn't far away from getting a touch on that. He did well not to touch it, actually, because it was a good delivery from Connors. Bit of bounce. Well directed. And straight through to the wicketkeeper, Brooke Guest. 5 deliveries to go. 3 wickets required. Tall order.
So if it's draw, it's 13 points each, isn't it?
It is. Here comes Connors. In again now and bowls, and Travaskis just squares up to the bowler and pushes it out into the offside, where it's fielded by Billy Godleman. 4
Excellent.
deliveries to go.
Excellent effort from Travaskis. 112 balls for 19. He stood firm. McAlinden 18 runs from 27 balls.
4 balls to go. 3 wickets required. This is going to be special if it happens. Connors in and bowls to Travaskis, who leaves alone
Good
outside the off stump.
3 balls to go, 3 wickets required. Have we ruled out a tie?
Yes.
Yes, we have, because they can't, because they're not on the
Yeah,
snow.
because they'd have to score another 165
Yes.
runs in 3 balls.
I forgot that bit.
Yeah.
I've never seen a tied match in
No.
a championship, have you?
No, Derbyshire only had 1.
Have they?
Gloucestershire in Bristol some years ago. So then this is the ball. No wicket from this delivery, and it's all over. Connors comes in and bowls, and it's defended by Travaskis, and we can all shake hands and go home. The caps are removed, the hands are shaken, and this game has ended in a draw as Durham finish on 221 for 7. Travaskis has been absolutely magnificent for his 114 deliveries. McAlinden out there with him at the end, 18 of 27. Both sides, as Martin said, will take 13 points from this game, which has gone to the very bitter end. The rain will arrive fairly shortly, I fancy.
Get drenched on our way around.
We're going to go and get some reaction. But yeah, the game ends in a draw, and as hard as Derbyshire tried, they just couldn't get the last 3 out. And Durham, well done to them, and well done to Liam Travaskis. 19 off 114 balls. Is a terrific effort. Both sides take 13 points. The lights have already gone off. Well, it's not cheap anymore, is it, the electricity? And Derbyshire will be back in action on Tuesday when they take on Nottinghamshire at the county ground.
Yes, and Durham have a week off, so was it a week on Monday they start here against Middlesex. Reaction to this one tomorrow morning then on BBC Radio Newcastle, BBC Radio Tees, and indeed on BBC Radio Derby as well. So Durham avoid defeat on an afternoon which got needlessly nervy for them. Around about tea they got themselves into a bit of a stupor when they lost Beddingham and rain. And Maddinson and Beddingham it was in consecutive overs just before tea, and then rain just after tea. And then what followed was 31 nervous overs, but Liam Travaskis there, excellent effort from him. And what it means though is that 9 matches in now, with 5 to go in the county championship for Durham. It's 9 played, 1-1, lost 2, drawn 6. Derbyshire played 9, won 2, lost 2, drawn 5. So there you go, 4 days have come to a conclusion, and we'll go off and we will get reaction now as the players shake hands and the different coaches shake hands and whatnot. My thanks to Dave Fletcher. As ever, it's been good fun with Dave on air. Always look forward to seeing him. And Durham and Derbyshire will do it again sometime later this season down in Derby for 4 days there as well. But from here, for now, we shall say goodbye. Paul Summerside says they toughed it out well. Ken says elbows attached to arms. Who knew? I should have stayed at the game longer, he says. Well, there you are. I think, is this still the only county championship match going, or I think this was the last one to finish. Just looking through, all the rest have finished. Yeah, so this one was the last one to finish. India 60 for 4 against England. We'll leave it there then. Thanks very much and goodbye.